Edith Abina opened her eyes. Water, light, blazing flames. I like men with broad chests. Wow, that body is incredible. Edith rubbed her sleepy eyes. Who was he again? Half asleep. She thought he wasn't wearing any clothes. Even fully dressed, that physique was outrageous. All the romance targets in this game were well built, but judging from that striking line of his jaw, Curtis Caballero, the Grand Duke of the North. Curtis spoke. Did you call me here just so you could doze off in front of me? What a strange hobby. Why did he sound like that? Edith Abina said, when you talk like that, you sound like the old Curtis. Curtis froze. What? Edith smiled. You know, the version of you from the beginning of the game. Of course, a game character wouldn't understand what an early route was. She reached out and grabbed Curtis by the tie. All right, come a little closer. I'd already completed Curtis's route and reached the ending. That meant I no longer needed to raise his affection. Curtis said, what exactly are you doing? Edith grinned. What do you think? I'm enjoying the happiness I've earned. The middle part of Curtis Caballero's route was something every player savored. His ending was my favorite too. So now his cold exterior had softened, and he would follow my lead completely. Besides, marrying a duke meant getting to experience the life of a duchess. Curtis suddenly shoved her away. The happiness you've earned. His gaze turned cold. The happiness you've earned. Edith turned her face aside. Is this a bug? She laughed softly. Oh, pretending you don't know? Are you shy? Curtis was expressionless. Have you finally gone mad? He turned his head. You're always like this, doing whatever you want, as if other people's well-being means nothing to you. Edith bristled. What is he talking about? I was definitely filing a bug report with the game company. She reached out a hand. Stop joking around. Hurry up and hold me. I'm cold. Curtis's eyes darkened. You can summon someone else whenever you want. Edith threw herself into his arms. What? I don't like that kind of play. Curtis alone is enough for me. She reached up. When you frown like that, it only makes me want to tease you more. Curtis's cheeks reddened. Crazy woman. Since I wasn't hesitating anymore, I might as well go further. Curtis's weak point was his ears, right? Edith leaned close to his ear. Come here, Curtis. She stuck out her tongue and gently licked the edge of his ear. Curtis's body jolted. Edith bent over him. With me holding you like this, do you think you can still endure it? Curtis's breathing grew ragged. I have no idea what you're thinking. If this is the kind of filthy act you wanted, then it seems I have no right to refuse. Edith smiled even more deeply. That's more like it. Curtis loosened his clothes, revealing his firm chest. What other duty did a romance target in a reverse harem game have besides sleeping with a player who had won his heart? Edith lay on the bed, her heart pounding. She closed her eyes. Curtis leaned down over her, but then stopped. Edith opened her eyes. What are you doing? Curtis turned his head. What am I supposed to do next? Edith froze. I knew he was the innocent type, but asking every single time was a bit much. She raised a hand and touched Curtis's cheek. Follow your instincts. Curtis stared at her. You seem very used to this sort of situation. Edith chuckled. Why wouldn't I be? We were all over each other in the game just yesterday. I already told you. Touch wherever you want. Kiss wherever you want. Curtis suddenly covered her mouth. You must have done this with other men too. A woman like you, lewd, selfish, caring only about yourself. A trace of mockery flashed in his eyes. Yes, to you, a man's touch means nothing, doesn't it? So even if I touch you like this, it's just entertainment to you. Edith cried out. Why was he so rough today? His anger was stronger than usual, but it also made him look sexier. I'll endure it a little longer. She looked at Curtis. Every time you put your hands on me, what does it feel like? Disgust or excitement? Curtis spoke slowly, word by word. Every time your hand touches me, it feels as if my whole body is rotting. It's horrifying. Edith stared at him in shock. Wait, what are you talking about? She fell back on a bed. Why had he suddenly become so rough? But because he had that face, I was getting even more excited. Curtis said, tonight will be the last time I satisfy your ridiculous demands, so I'll cooperate properly. Edith froze. What did he mean? Curtis's eyes were calm. Tomorrow, I will be specially appointed as the knight who guards the saint from another world. Edith frowned. But I'm the saint. What on earth are you talking about? Curtis continued. So, I am no longer someone you can treat however you please. Edith Abina. Edith's face filled with horror. Wait. Curtis leaned over her. You want me to stop here? You're selfish too. Edith hurried to explain. That's not what I meant. Edith Abina. That was the villain's name in this game. Sunlight filtered through the curtains and poured across the luxurious room. Edith stared at herself in the mirror. Silver hair, purple eyes, beauty so stunning it stole her breath. I really did become Edith Abina. She touched her own cheek. Annoyingly pretty. Why did I have to become the villain who's only good-looking? Wait, how do I know the name Edith Abina? She wasn't even a romance target. Probably because I killed her dozens of times while playing. This was a virtual reality game developed by the industry giant Unita, letting players experience professions that didn't exist in the real world. The role I had chosen was the Saint. Real job experience. Saint R players connected their brains directly through a neural stimulation device and enjoyed an ultra-realistic simulation. This should have been prepared for the protagonist, not the villain. Is this a bug? Or some secret event prepared by the developers for veteran players? Whatever. If I don't like it, I can just log out. Maybe there are rare items hidden here. I remember Curtis is supposed to be appointed as the Saint's Knight today, so that means it's still early in the game. Edith walked to the bed. Curtis, are you pretending to be asleep? She bent down and gently blew into Curtis's ear. Curtis jolted awake. What are you doing? He sat up looking displeased. Was it this early in the morning? Edith looked at him. As expected, early game Curtis was icy cold. But that body was incredible. Curtis gave a faint snort. Are you staring at me? You always catch me off guard. He started dressing. Edith cried out, damn it, why are you already putting clothes on? No. She snatched Curtis's shirt away. Yesterday was such a mess. We only did it once. She held up 3 fingers. We can't waste a body like this. This is my chance with Curtis. Even if it's a bug, it's still the best bug possible. How about 3 more times today? Curtis looked dumbfounded. What? Edith said, then twice? Or at least once more. Curtis roared. Edith, have you lost your mind? You're disgusting. He yanked his shirt back. Straightening his collar, he said, I'm not blind. I can see how obsessed you are with me. You even used a knight's oath to bind me. Edith lifted her eyes and stared at him. He really did hate Edith, but Cold Curtis was sexy too. The more he acted like that, the more excited I got. No wonder he hated her. Edith had had a crush on Curtis since childhood and used it to force him into a knight's oath. In this world, knights had to protect their lady. But not only that, they were also responsible for her physical and mental well-being. They comforted her when she was sad and entertained her when she was bored. If she felt depressed, they had to ease that too. So before the Saint appeared and saved him, Curtis was basically Edith's plaything. Edith gently touched Curtis's cheek. His eyes were full of humiliation. Curtis turned and left. Even if you've really gone insane, it's none of my business. Because today, just as I said, I will swear loyalty to the Saint from another world. The heroine arrives and frees Curtis from Edith's clutches. Edith's cheeks flushed. That Saint is me, obviously. I've played this game 10 times. I've saved Curtis 10 times too. Wait, 3 of those were bad endings. I let him be tormented by Edith. Curtis disappeared through the doorway, and Edith collapsed onto the floor. Damn it, but no matter what, I just got the Duchess ending with him. We only just got married. She held her forehead. But why can't I log out? If the game resets to the protagonist and makes me play again, she reached out and a purple interface appeared. Edith tried to exit. A shrill alarm sounded. Error. Logout cannot be completed. Edith's pupils contracted in fear. What was going on? If I can't log out, I'll sue this company into bankruptcy. What am I supposed to do? She collapsed helplessly. If I stay too long, my real body is definitely going to break down. No matter how advanced the technology is, a person has limits without food or water. 1 day in the real world equals 10 days in the game. If I don't drink water, I can last 3 days at most, so I have to get out within a month. I hope someone notices I'm trapped in here, but there's no family in real life who'd care. My father might even be pleased. I just changed my mother's insurance beneficiary to him. Now I can get mine too. No, I don't want to die inside a game. Edith rang the bell by the bed. A maid could just bring her water. The door opened and a maid walked in. Miss Edith, what did you call for? Edith looked at her. Did you come to tell me I'm awake? The maid sneered. Still putting on airs? You never change. Edith was stunned. What? Had she lost her mind? Why was she speaking to me like that? The maid suddenly grabbed Edith by the shoulder. If you're awake, don't just stand there. Go wash up. Edith said, that's incredibly rude. The maid began making the bed roughly. All you maids are being dismissed. What do you expect me to do? From today on, you're no longer the Grand Duke Caballero's woman. The only reason you were allowed to stay here was because of that status. You're not even the Marquis's biological daughter. Edith looked blank. Not the Marquis's daughter? That's the first time I've heard that setting. She tested the waters. Am I the Marchioness's illegitimate daughter? The maid put her hands on her hips. Still acting relaxed, are you? The Marchioness already passed away, didn't she? And you squandered all her inheritance. Do you still think you can keep living as a nobleness? Edith snorted. Classic evil supporting character setup. Looks like everyone in this house hates Edith. Fine. Until the developers fix the bug, I'll just have to endure it. There was a knock at the door. Both women turned. A butler entered. "Miss Edith, the Marquis requests your presence." Edith tried to remember the Marquis of House Abina. That lecherous, incompetent pig. I can't even remember what he looks like. The butler urged her on. "You'd best hurry." A strange smile tugged at his lips. Edith swallowed hard, unease tightening in her chest. What was going on? Curtis stood before the Marquis. The fat, red-haired Marquis sat behind his desk. Today, Curtis would be appointed as the Saint's Knight. What an idiot. She couldn't even hold on to one man. Disgust filled his face. To think things had come to this. Edith stared expressionlessly. "We really don't look alike. He looks exactly like a greedy pig. No wonder people would doubt I'm his daughter." The Marquis slammed the desk. "All support from the Grand Duke's house is about to be cut off." Edith listened calmly. That must have hurt. The Marquis's roar was deafening. "The business I'm pushing forward is in serious trouble. How are you going to take responsibility for this, you idiot?" The corner of Edith's mouth twitched. A man with no ability who only chases women. Didn't he succeed solely because of the Grand Duke family support? She looked him straight in the eye. "You should be grateful. Every bit of support you've received until now came through me, didn't it? When you were getting funding, you should have worked on increasing your own assets. Isn't that what the head of a house is supposed to do?" The Marquis froze. "What?" He sprang to his feet. "You insolent brat. How dare you question what the head of the family should do? You've finally gone mad." In Edith's purple eyes, a strange light flickered. "What's this?" A system interface appeared out of nowhere. "Warning. If she enters the punishment room, Edith Abina's mind will be damaged." The Marquis grabbed Edith by the hair. She shut her eyes in pain. The Marquis's face loomed close. "That's right. Ever since you became the Grand Duke's woman, you haven't entered the punishment room once. No wonder you've forgotten your place." Edith choked out a breath. "What happens if my mind is damaged? I want to look more closely, but with my hair being yanked, I can't see the status window." The Marquis's face twisted. "A brat who doesn't know her place should be punished. I only held back because you were the Grand Duke's woman. Now, of course, I'll make you pay double." Edith struggled desperately. "Let go of my hand. Even if I'm not your biological daughter, you still can't look at me with those filthy eyes." The Marquis's grip tightened. "Wretch, didn't I tell you to behave?" Edith said, "I still have to meet the Grand Duke later. I can't go looking like this." The Marquis slowly loosened his hand. "Since you have an appointment, I won't take you to the punishment room." Edith turned to leave. "If I stay with the Marquis any longer, my mind will break before I even get to the punishment room. I need to prepare." The Marquis washed her back. "After you're done with the Grand Duke, come to my office. After midnight tonight, you will no longer be the Grand Duke's woman, nor will you be a daughter of the Marquis's house." Edith turned back. "No matter what, I have to log out today." She stood in front of the door. "What the hell is the punishment room? Why did a warning window pop up? I don't remember anything like this in the game." This was supposed to be a relaxed Otome game system. Window after window appeared. Edith Abina's sanity, the ability to maintain her reason. Once it drops to zero, her mind will collapse. Edith Abina's spirit, the channel connecting the real world and the game world. The passage between the two worlds. It has disabled Edith Abina's logout function. I don't totally understand it, but if I want to log out, I can't let my sanity collapse. I need to find another logout method as quickly as possible. She turned to leave when a red-haired woman called out to her. "In such a hurry? Where are you going?" Edith turned back. "Who is she? I don't recognize this character." "I'll pretend I do for now." Edith answered coldly. "Back to my room." The red-haired woman folded her arms. Short answer. She smiled with contempt. "Do you still think you're my older sister?" Edith, search her memory. Could she be Edith's half-sister, Lalina? In the game, her feelings toward Edith were a mix of love and hate. So that's why she's treating me like this. Lalina laughed loudly. "You should call me Lady Lalina. Starting today, I am the daughter of House Abina." Edith remained expressionless. "Oh, I see. Then please step aside, my lady." Lalina's smile vanished. "Are you mocking me right now?" Edith looked at her. "I'm not mocking you. If I offended you, I apologize." Lalina suddenly grabbed her arm. "Are you playing games with me? If you really feel guilty, then kneel and apologize." Edith thought, fine, it's just a game anyway. Kneeling once isn't a big deal. She was just about to bend her knees when her body froze. "Why can't I move?" Warning, kneeling exceeds the range of actions permitted for Edith's character. Character collapse penalty. Force choice system activated. Choice system forcibly activated. Option 1, kill Lalina. Option 2, beat Lalina until she faints. Option 3, slap Lalina across the face. Option 4, stare at her coldly without speaking. Edith's eyes went blank. What on earth did she usually do for the choices to be like this? Still, there was one best option. Her finger moved to the fourth choice. stare at her coldly without speaking. She slowly lifted her head and fixed Lelina with icy purple eyes. Lelina stumbled back in fright. Why are you looking at me like that? Are you going to hit me again? Do you think father will stand by and do nothing this time? Edith turned and walked away. So she'd been hit before. Lelina clutched her face and screamed, "Just you wait. I won't let you get away with this." Edith left without looking back. She entered her room and stared at the system interface in front of her. This damn game. If I can really go back, I can't even pause it, let alone log out. Since I can't log out, should I try forcing a shutdown? It's just a game, but it's still terrifying. Even the real world, no matter how bad the lag or errors got, I'd never tried anything like that. How is that any different from suicide? Edith climbed onto the balcony railing. Curtis shouted, "Edith!" Edith whipped around. Her eyes were dim. I'll come back as the protagonist. Curtis! Curtis rushed toward her in terror. Edith tipped forward and fell from the balcony. Her body traced an arc through the air. So my hunch was right. A system window appeared. Player mind damaged. Automatic logout in progress. Edith raised a finger and tapped the empty air. Good, as long as I can log out. Then the system window flickered. Error. Logout failed. Edith's body plummeted downward. Her purple eyes widened in horror. The game should already be over. Why am I still falling? System error. Bright red static flooded her vision. Then Edith's body slammed hard into the ground. Blood poured from her mouth. Damn it. It hurts so much. System prompt. Error. Logout failed. The game will restart. Edith's eyes closed shut. She slowly opened them. Her purple eyes were filled with confusion. Where am I? Countless glowing images floated before her like fragments of shattered memory. These were all the scenes from before Edith died. Her gaze settled on one image. Edith smiled and said, "Going out boating like this is so nice." A black-haired woman replied, "I only became friends with Edith to get close to Curtis." Edith suddenly pointed at the water. I saw a fish. Reflected in her pupils was the figure of the black-haired woman. What? The black-haired woman suddenly shoved Edith. If I want to get close to Curtis, I have to get rid of you. At that moment, I killed my friend without hesitation. Edith fell into the water, struggling desperately. Help me. Her hand sank beneath the surface and disappeared. Could it be that killing Edith triggered some kind of magical punishment? Is that why the error happened? That's not fair. The route you designed requires Edith to die in order to unlock multiple endings. A man appeared before her. Our designed route? That's a rather hurtful thing to say. He smiled. Our game is famous for its high degree of freedom. Edith looked at him. That face. It was the assistant. She rushed forward and grabbed the assistant by the collar. Enough nonsense. Let me out of this game right now. The assistant smiled. Impossible. He lightly held Edith's hand. You are not trapped in a game experience. You are trapped in a live game. This world was built by Edith herself, perfected through countless deaths and rebirths. Edith muttered under her breath. Did I accidentally enter an unreleased game? The assistant wandered among countless data screens. You cannot leave until you complete the goal she set. Even I, as the assistant, can do nothing. Edith was furious. What kind of joke is this? If I don't go back soon, I'll really die. The assistant smiled. Then you'd better start the game quickly. Time moves differently here than in your world. If you spend a year here, you really will die. Edith protested, but if I don't log out for that long, the developers will definitely notice something's wrong. The assistant replied calmly, I already told you. This world belongs to Edith Abina. You have already logged out of the original game. But if someone wakes you before then, you might still be able to leave. Edith's pupils shrank, but no one will wake me. I'll really die here. Trembling, she asked, what goal did Edith set? The assistant turned to face her. Wow, you finally decided to play seriously. Then let the game begin. Extreme Occupations. Romance Fantasy World Saint Edition. Edith repeated blankly. Extreme Occupations? System windows popped up one after another. A special offer for players tired of easy lives in fantasy worlds. Become the saint in a romance fantasy world and experience unprecedented personalized service. The game is about to begin. Please prepare yourself. The assistant spoke slowly. You always had another choice. You just never noticed it. Edith's consciousness began to blur. What does that mean? Her body writhed in pain. It hurts. It feels like my whole body is shattered. Force logout failed. I took the full impact. She looked toward the bedside. Curtis and a brown-haired woman were standing there. With her head lowered, the woman said, I'm sorry, Sir Curtis. Someone loves you so deeply. How can I possibly make you my knight? Curtis comforted Edith gently. Don't cry, Johnny. Johnny said tearfully, if I force you to become my knight, she might try to kill herself again. Edith observed them. Judging by what they were wearing, this should be the third day of the game. Then is she a player too? If she's a real player, I need to make her understand my situation and ask for help. A system page appeared. Quest triggered. Expose the identity of Johnny, who is trying to take Curtis away. Quest reward. 1 random treasure box and removal of behavior restrictions. Penalty for failure. Assistant affection -10. Do you accept the quest? Edith thought, if I refuse, will the assistant's affection go down? Wait, didn't I already clear the assistant's route? In the first playthrough, you can romance the assistant too, but he's a hidden character. He can only be unlocked through the world destruction route. Quest reward. 1 extreme occupations guidebook. Special item. 1 random treasure box. There's even extra compensation. That guidebook is tempting. Johnny held Edith's hand tightly. Mississippi, you're finally awake. My name is Johnny. I'm the new high priestess from the Grand Temple. But your condition was so serious, and I was the closest one there. So I treated you first. Edith tried to speak. Thank you. But an invisible force sealed her mouth shut. What was this? Why couldn't I open my mouth? System prompt. Due to character settings, you cannot say anything inconsistent with the role. Edith Abina's personality is arrogant, rude, selfish, and greedy. Edith lowered her head. I can't even say thank you. What kind of trash game is this? She suddenly shook Johnny's hand off. Johnny gasped. Curtis flew into a rage. What? How can you treat the person who saved your life like that? Edith crossed her arms, looking displeased. Johnny held her own hand. Please don't scold the lady too harshly. I must have been too presumptuous and made her uncomfortable. Curtis stared at Johnny. How can you still be thinking of her in a situation like this? Edith looked helpless. How am I supposed to romance Curtis under these conditions? Is this really a dating sim? If they force me to play identity games too, then this isn't just a romance simulation anymore. Let's open Curtis's status window first and see if he's really still a romanceable character. Curtis Caballero. Occupation, Commander of the Knights. Current location, Imperial Capital, Caballero Estate. Edith's purple eyes shrank. She stared at the image that had appeared before her in shock. What is that? An affection gauge? 1 chili pepper out of 5 was partially filled. Was it because Johnny was in the room? Just being in the same space as her was enough to excite him? No wonder he was a romance target. Curtis spoke coldly. Now that I've confirmed you're awake, I'll take my leave. Making sure you've regained consciousness was my last duty, Edith Abina. He turned away. I hope we never meet again. Johnny hurried after him in alarm. Wait, Sir Curtis, take me with you. The door slammed shut. Edith slumped on the bed. I really have made Curtis hate me. The road ahead is long. This is going to be difficult. Johnny walked beside Curtis and asked with concern, Sir Curtis, are you all right? You don't look well. Curtis paused. I'm Fina. Johnny clasped her hands together. That's a relief. May the gods protect you, Sir Curtis. Curtis looked at her. She had suddenly been transported to this world. Yet the first thing she did was worry about others and devote herself wholeheartedly to her duty. She really was like a saint. If someone told me she came from the sacred scriptures themselves, I would believe it. She's exactly the kind of woman I've always dreamed of. Looking up at him, she said, I want to take a walk in the garden. Would you accompany me, Sir Curtis? Curtis lowered his eyes. I will be delighted. Curtis's fingers trembled slightly. What was that feeling? It must have been my imagination. The reason I keep thinking about Edith is only because I feel guilty about her suicide attempt. Edith wiped the windows when a maid spoke cautiously. Miss, you've been acting very strangely since last week. Edith screamed. Do you take me for an idiot asking me that? The 2 maids jumped. Miss, we'll work hard. Edith laughed scornfully. Go on, cry. For plain-faced girls like you, your tearful faces are the only things worth looking at. She kept wiping the window. As punishment for attempting suicide, Edith Abina's character settings had already begun to collapse, and acting in ways that didn't fit the role would only speed up the process. So, if I want to figure out who I really am, I first have to make this character setting collapse. Edith clenched her fists. Maybe at the same time, I can send a distress signal to the real-world player controlling me. Only then can I escape this damn condition. System window prompt. Choose how to punish the maids. 1. Slap them. 2. Forbid them from eating. 3. Have them beaten. 4. Clean their room for them. If this choice is ignored, there will be a penalty. I can only pick the one that doesn't involve abuse. Edith glared at the maids. How dare you interrupt me? I'll teach you a lesson. The maids froze. How will you punish us? Edith turned her head. I'm not doing that. If I really hit them, another window would definitely pop up. The maids looked at each other in confusion. Is your way of punishing us? Doing our work for us? The other maid asked uncertainly. Are you sure you're trying to bully us? One maid boldly grabbed Edith by the wrist. Maybe it's because I haven't worked at the Marquis estate very long, but Mississippi, I really don't think you're bullying us. You're just someone who's easy to misunderstand. The pink-haired maid cried out and slapped her hand away. Jedi, how dare you touch Miss so casually? She stood in front of Jedi. Miss, Jedi used to be a commoner. She doesn't know the rules. That's my fault. If you must punish someone, punish me as her superior. Edith looked exasperated. That's not it at all. Then another choice window appeared. How will you punish the maid? 1. Slap her. 2. Forbid her from eating. 3. Have her beaten. 4. Clean the room for her. My choices are either disfigurement or execution. Slapping her is the lightest of the options. Edith suddenly swung her hand. Who do you think you are, ordering me around? Her palm struck the pink-haired maid across the face. The maid fell to the floor with a cry. Edith froze. Damn it, did I hit her too hard? The pink-haired maid held her cheek. Her body trembled slightly. Mississippi, I was only worried. You haven't really bullied us lately, so I spoke out of turn. But the expression on your face was truly frightening. System prompt. Affection greatly increased. The maid's affection toward you has reached maximum. Edith was stunned by what she saw. What? The maids cheered in delight. Wonderful. I'm so happy to be able to serve Miss Edith. Edith was speechless. Of course, a twisted master would only attract twisted servants. System prompt. Congratulations. You have obtained the qualification to enter the secret fan club. Only members with this title may enter. Edith shouted, I don't care about a club like that. 1 week later, Edith rested her chin in her hand and thought. I worked myself half to death for a week, and I still haven't made much progress. Character collapse rate, 30. I helped the maids with their work, made donations, cleaned over and over, but the collapse rate just won't go up anymore. A knock sounded. Edith lifted her head. Curtis walked in. Edith looked at him expressionlessly. What are you suddenly doing here? Curtis said coldly. That look on your face makes it seem like you'd rather I hadn't come. Edith stood up. If you know that, then leave. I'm busy raising my collapse rate. Curtis gave a quiet laugh. I don't know why your obsession with me suddenly vanished, but personally, I welcome it. It means you won't try to kill yourself again. Edith folded her arms. I never said that. I didn't jump out the window because of you. Curtis stepped closer. Then why did you suddenly seek death? On the eve of my swearing loyalty as the Saint's Knight, Edith clenched her fists tight. I was trying to log out, you idiot. She looked at the choices in front of her. Another set of leading options. They all push me to cling to him. This time, I'm ignoring them on purpose. I'm just leaving. A flash of surprise crossed Curtis's eyes. This is the first time you've ignored me. System prompt. Character collapse, rate 31. Edith blinked in surprise. It went up. Was it because I ignored Curtis? She turned and walked away. Character collapse, rate 33. Edith opened her mouth in delight. Just walking away raised it by 2. So Curtis really is a key character. She quickened her pace. This is faster. As she walked, she thought, in that case, what is the one thing Edith would absolutely never do to Curtis? She stopped a maid. Do you know where St. Johnny is? The maid answered respectfully. The saint is taking a walk in the garden. Edith hurried toward Johnny. I have something to tell you about Grand Duke Curtis. Johnny stepped forward. So suddenly? Is it because of me? She approached Edith. Once my healing divine power returns, I'll go back to the Grand Temple. You don't need to worry. I won't come between the two of you. Edith froze. She said she exhausted her divine power healing me. Then why is she still pouring divine power into me now? She felt a warm current flow into her body. She grabbed Johnny's hand. Saint, that's not the point. She clasped Johnny's hand tightly and pleaded earnestly. Please accept Grand Duke Curtis as your knight. Johnny froze. Edith kept speaking. I will bless your future with Grand Duke Curtis. A violent shock ran through her body, and she let out a muffled groan of pain. Cold sweat beaded on her forehead. Johnny hurried to support her. Miss, what's wrong? Are you all right? Edith trembled, enduring the pain. I will give you my blessing. Johnny looked completely confused. Miss Abina, why are you doing this? Lalina walked over with her arms crossed. Don't believe a single word that woman says. She's like the serpent in scripture. Johnny tried to defend her. You shouldn't say that. Miss Edith is your sister. Lalina gave a cold laugh. That woman told you I'm her sister? She suddenly raised her hand and slapped Edith hard across the face. You despicable liar. How dare you pretend to be my sister? Edith took the blow without resisting. Her cheek instantly reddened and swelled. She didn't dodge, and that shocked Lelina. Why didn't she avoid it? She normally always dodges. Edith held her cheek, because I suddenly realized what Edith Abina would never do. To complete the character collapse task in one go, I pretended I was still the Marquis's eldest daughter. I'm sorry, Lilina. A feverish light shone in Edith's eyes, a pure kind of madness. Lelina was shaken by that gaze. You crazy woman, did losing your position finally make you lose your mind? Or is this some new trick to torment me? Edith grabbed Lelina's arm. I'm not some lady anymore. How could I torment you? Tears slid down her face. All this time, I failed to be a good older sister. I am truly sorry. Johnny screamed in terror. Miss, you're bleeding. System warning. Character collapse rate has exceeded 90. Edith suddenly coughed up a mouthful of blood. It stained her clothes red. System warning. As a penalty for character collapse, you will be affected by the abnormal status, hemoptysis. Everything went black before Edith's eyes. Her vision blurred, and she collapsed to the ground, completely losing consciousness. Unbelievable. There had once been peaceful days for Edith Abina and Curtis Caballero. In the garden, Curtis smiled faintly. Hello, Miss Edith. Edith's cheeks flushed, and she nervously gripped her skirt. Ashilo. Curtis narrowed his eyes. What a cute little girl. Nothing like my sister. Edith's heart leapt, her cheeks burning. From the moment they first met, Edith fell in love with Curtis. She gazed up at him, her heart pounding wildly. Curtis didn't feel the same, but the two still gradually formed a quiet friendship. At the time, their families interacted frequently due to a business alliance, so they had many chances to grow close. If that emotion that stained her young heart black in that instant could even be called love. Even after Edith's birth mother was exposed for adultery, even after her mother died of the plague, they remained together. Edith trembled all over. I'm a mixed blood. Father might drive us out. Curtis gripped her shoulders tightly. It's all right. The Marquis would never abandon you. Edith lowered her eyes. That's because you don't know what adults are capable of. The scars on her neck were clearly visible. Young Curtis innocently believed that the Marquis, as Edith's stepfather, would naturally take responsibility. But soon Curtis, too, would gain family unrelated by blood. After being widowed, the Duke of Caballero remarried and took a new duchess. The young and beautiful duchess could not bear her husband, who was 20 years older than she was. She lured the Duke's son into her bedchamber and made him her toy. A whip sliced through the air and struck young Curtis hard. He let out a pained grunt, his body curling from the agony. Curtis panted harshly, cheeks flushed, eyes filled with humiliation. Edith hurried forward and grabbed Curtis's arm. Curtis, when did you get here? Curtis violently shook her hand off, his body trembling in pain. Edith looked at him anxiously. Curtis, what's wrong? Are you sick? She suddenly seized his arm and yanked up his sleeve. His arm was covered in overlapping scars. The sight was horrifying. Curtis quickly pulled his arm back. Edith demanded, who would dare do this to a duke's son? Curtis confessed everything to her. Those cruel nights he didn't even dare tell his father about. To this friend burning with rage, this Edith who still seemed innocent, he told all his secrets. What Curtis did not know was what kind of feeling swelled in Edith's heart the moment she grasped his weakness. Curtis's voice was cold and resolute. Don't tell anyone. He covered his face with his hand in obvious agony. Edith took hold of his wrist. I'll help you become my knight. If you're my knight, the Duchess won't be able to touch you so easily. She smiled, the corners of her lips curling in calculation. She knew this gentle boy would become her knight, her perfect shield. That was how their twisted bond began. Edith abruptly opened her eyes. Was that Edith's past? After coughing blood and passing out, I dreamed of Edith. Even though it was only fragmented memory, I could still feel Edith's cruelty toward Curtis. Curtis trusted his friend, only to be betrayed the moment he revealed his weakness. No wonder he hated Edith so much. His stepmother's abuse and Edith's betrayal gave Curtis a severe obsession with cleanliness and made him hate everyone. Curtis sat in the bath, wiping the blood from his arms with a cloth, his expression pained and numb. As the heir to the Grand Duke, Curtis's mental illness was seen as a stain on the family. In order to protect the family's honor, he eventually submitted to all of Edith's unreasonable demands, that woman who knew his weakness, until the heroine appeared and healed Curtis's illness. Johnny gently took Edith's hand. Miss, are you awake? You've overexerted yourself. Edith looked at her. I'm Fina. Please don't push yourself too hard. Johnny softly tried to comfort her. I'm really all right, Mississippi. Edith fell into thought. His initial sexual cultivation level should have been very low. Why waste divine power on me? Curtis was already standing in the doorway. Edith, are you really not going to stop until the saintess collapses from exhaustion? Johnny turned back. Lord Curtis, I'm fine. Please don't worry too much. Curtis placed a hand on her shoulder. Please stop. At this rate, you'll faint. Johnny rose to his feet. Suddenly, a wave of dizziness hit him. His body swayed, and he fell backward. Curtis immediately caught him. Are you all right? Johnny's face was pale, and his breathing was ragged. The treatment just now may have been a little too much. He hurriedly explained, I'm not blaming Miss Edith. Please don't misunderstand. Supporting him, Curtis said, please go rest first. The door shut. I see. He's a witness who can be bought. No wonder even after I refused, he kept treating me. Curtis coldly declared, I will not be toyed with by your schemes ever again. Today, I was temporarily appointed as the Saintess's knight. You are no longer Lady Caballero. Edith smiled and nodded. I see. Someone vomited blood and fainted. Yet you ran off to become another woman's knight. How touching. Curtis stared at her. You're being awfully quiet. What are you plotting? Covering her face, Edith said, Nothing. Curtis lowered his eyes. An unnatural flush spread across his cheeks. Yes, Curtis had every reason to treat Edith this way. After seeing that past, how could he possibly still have any hope for her? Up to now, she had done far too many terrible things. Warning, character collapse rate has exceeded 95. Edith suddenly coughed up a mouthful of blood. Her body convulsed violently. Warning, penalty for character collapse is now being carried out. Curtis cried out in terror. Edith! Edith, shove him away. Don't you hate being near me? Forcing a smile, she said, Curtis, congratulations on becoming Miss Johnny's knight. Curtis looked stunned. What? Edith raised her head. I'm sorry for everything I've done. Warning, character collapse, rate 100. An invisible shackle shattered apart. Edith's eyes widened in shock. The feeling of restraint was gone. She threw out her arms and cried with delight. I'm free. It felt as though her soul had broken out of a cage. Curtis stood dumbfounded. What is going on? Did vomiting blood make you lose your mind? Edith turned and ran. Sorry, I'm fine. I'm just too happy. I have something urgent, so I'm leaving first. Curtis reached out a hand. With your body in this condition, where are you going? He frowned deeply. What the hell is going on? Could it be she doesn't need me anymore? Edith dashed out the door. Please, somebody call an ambulance. He's covered in blood. Stumbling forward, Johnny looked confused. Miss, what are you suddenly talking about? But then Edith grabbed his hand and urgently blurted out an address. Hurry, I really will die here. I've already been trapped in this game for a week. Johnny tilted his head innocently. Miss, how do you know the word ambulance? Do people in this world use that to call for help too? Edith shot back. I'm a player too, just like you. Johnny blinked in confusion. I don't understand games at all. A total computer idiot. Edith froze. Johnny wasn't a player, but the protagonist was supposed to be directly controlled by a player. Could he be an AI? Edith's pupils shrank. She suddenly grabbed Johnny by the shoulders. School. Johnny looked puzzled. What? Edith stared at him intently. Which high school did you go to? If Johnny was the protagonist of real experience, then he had to be, Johnny answered, Uni High School. Wait, this world has high schools too. Edith's eyes flew wide open. As expected, Uni High School, the virtual school created by Unitas. Every protagonist in the Real Experience series graduated from there. But I've never heard that Johnny was an AI character. If even the protagonist were AI, they would have advertised it everywhere. Edith shuddered all over. If this wasn't a game world, it was reality. Johnny looked at her worriedly. Miss, are you all right? A purple window appeared out of thin air. The deadline for the first mission is approaching. Have you discovered Johnny's true identity? Trembling, Edith reached out and typed into the interface. Fine, I have nothing left to lose. System message. You have entered Kim Johnny as Johnny's identity. Correct. Congratulations on completing the mission. A light swallowed Edith whole. She had finally finished the first mission. The assistant appeared. Smiling, he placed a hand on his chest. You took a little time. I was somewhat worried, but you got it done in the end. Edith glared at him. You said this world came from some extreme job game. Then this should be a game world. So why is no player controlling Johnny? The assistant spread his hands. I never said this world was a game made by Unitas. Edith's pupils contracted. Impossible. I thought it was a system error that I'd gotten trapped in an unreleased Unitas game. But if this isn't even a Unitas game, Then where the hell am I? The assistant answered calmly. This is a game world, just not the kind of game you were imagining. Extreme Job was created by Edith Abina. As I said before, if you want to return to reality, you must complete the goal she set. Edith shouted angrily. Then what exactly is that goal? The assistant asked calmly. In the real experience Sanus route, what did you as the player do? Edith answered frankly. I captured all the male leads. The assistant nodded. You fell in love. Edith looked away. You could put it that way. The assistant explained. In any case, Edith's AI was obsessed with Johnny and created this world. Now you must help Edith Abina experience true love. Edith's pupils shrank in shock. Edith Abina had a true love. The assistant answered firmly, yes. Although Unitas never officially announced it, there really was such a person. Edith pressed who? The assistant spread his hands. Since it was never officially announced, I don't know either. You'll have to find the answer yourself. If you conquer the male leads and find true love, you can safely return to reality. Edith burned with rage. This damned world doesn't even have any male leads. The assistant raised one finger. But you can see the affection meter, right? Edith trembled with anger. You call that an affection meter? This world is full of disgusting lust. Those so-called male leads don't like me at all. Curtis would even snap my neck. She suddenly raised her hand. The assistant floated elegantly in the air. If you keep playing, you'll understand. That is all I have to say. Edith roared. You bastard. Get down here before I lose my temper. The assistant chuckled. I almost forgot something important. This game is a dating sim, but it's also a job simulator. Your ultimate job is Saintus, so you need to properly fulfill those duties as well. Edith screamed in despair. Who mixes a job simulator with a romance game? The developer was Korean. Edith was also a Korean-made AI. Wait, in the Extreme Job Saintus route, the Saintus was Johnny. So how am I the Saintus? The assistant snapped his fingers, and his figure gradually faded. You'll understand soon enough. A new interface appeared. First mission, Johnny's identity. Reward item delivered. A thick book appeared out of nowhere. On the cover were the words, Strategy Guide, Author, Assistant. Edith gritted her teeth. That little assistant. One day, I'm going to smash that pixel face of his. The book flipped open on its own, and strips of glowing golden text danced through the air. Everything you want to know about the world of Extreme Job. I can't tell you all of it, but I'll share what I do know. Edith trembled with fury. That little bastard. Words appeared on the page. Just like in the previous game, there are 5 male leads here. An image of a black-haired, blue-eyed man appeared. He is Duke of the North, Curtis. Another man appeared. Count Prince Aslit von Wienhardt. Duke of the South, Balfairs. Lucas of Toledo, and the master of the Magic Tower, Clive Norton. If you want to escape this game, you must find Edith's true love among these 5 men. Edith looked at the book. Fine, it definitely isn't Curtis. He's out. There's too much bad blood between us, and we've already slept together. At least I don't have to go after the hardest one. Among the remaining candidates, the easiest target should be... Edith's finger slid over the page. A sly smile appeared on her face. You're the first bastard I'm going after. Balfairs Toledo, with women in both arms, drowning in wine and pleasure. He is the son of the Duke of Toledo, ruler of the rich South, famous for its entertainment district and indulgent decadence. Though he bears the title of the gracious Duke of the South, he is a complete rogue. Otzloshit's playboy. The royal family even gave him the nickname Trash Industry. Edith walked through the street in a cloak. He's not my type at all, so I never played his route. I have no idea how to approach him. At least I still have the strategy guide. Balfairs Toledo's ideal type. Full breasts, a slim waist, and a perky ass. Edith came to a sudden stop. This was the Red House, the largest casino in the capital. Balfairs should be inside. All right, I'm going all in. She threw off her cloak, revealing a gorgeous purple dress. With Edith's face, I'm ready. The magnificent hall buzzed with noise. Edith looked around. Where is Balfairs? Then she was stunned by the sight before her. One man stood out amid the chaos. He had blonde hair and blue eyes, reclining lazily on a red sofa, holding a glass of champagne. Edith walked up to him and spoke softly. Excuse me. She bent down, her voice carrying a hint of seduction. Is this seat taken? Winning him over might be even more fun than I thought. Balfairs replied coldly. Are you blind? I'm sitting here. Edith cursed inwardly. Harder to deal with than I expected. Putting on a pitiful expression, she said, then, may I sit here for a moment? My legs are really sore. Ballfairs glanced at her. Didn't expect you to be this direct. Fine, sit next to me. Edith sat down beside him and asked softly, did something unpleasant happen today? You don't seem to be in a good mood. Ballfairs paused, his hand tightening around the glass. I was a bit cold just now. Today hasn't been a good day for me. Sorry if I offended you. Edith replied gently, it's all right. I'm not offended. I was just a little worried. Ballfairs said, you're really a kind person. Edith gave her name. Edith. Ballfairs stiffened abruptly. His glass nearly slipped from his hand. Under his breath, he repeated the name. Edith. He suddenly turned his head, his gaze sharp as he stared at her. Edith Abina? A warning bell rang in Edith's mind. What kind of reaction is that? Does he know who I am? Edith already had history with Curtis. Does she have history with Ballfairs, too? Edith hurriedly waved her hands, forcing herself to stay calm. I'm just a commoner. I don't have a family name. He doesn't seem to recognize my face. I'd better keep hiding my identity. Ballfairs let out a sigh. You have the same name as a woman I hate. Edith's heart skipped. He seemed careless, but when he got serious, he was terrifying. Turning to the waiter, Ballfairs said, bring me a bottle of Brignac brandy. I was too rude to this lady just now. The waiter bowed in apology. We only have one bottle of Brignac left, and it's already been reserved by another guest. Ballfairs casually tossed out a pouch of gold coins, which scattered across the table. He spoke coldly, then turned the capital upside down, or take it from that bastard by force. Just bring it to me now. The waiter trembled. Why, yes, right away. Ballfairs turned back, his eyes falling on Edith. He leaned in close. So, miss, what did you come here for? You can't have just walked up to a man drinking alone for no reason. Around here, the unspoken rule is not to bother people like me. Edith hurriedly bowed her head. I'm truly very sorry. I had no idea. The waiter brought over the bottle of Brignac and respectfully set on the table. Your drink, sir. Ballfairs waved him away. Good work. You may go. He poured Edith a drink. I'm in a bad mood today, so I won't blame you. But whether I forgive you depends on what you want. Edith picked up the glass. Can I take a sip before I answer? Ballfairs curved his lips. Go ahead. Edith took a light sip, and her eyes instantly lit up. Wow, this is delicious. If it came with chilled dragonfly fruit, it'd be perfect. Ballfairs looked at her. Is it really that good? Edith nodded eagerly. Really, really good. She set down the glass. Right, you asked why I came over. Edith leaned forward and flashed a brilliant smile. Because your face is completely my type. Bending toward Ballfairs, she whispered, you're incredibly handsome. I really want to get deeply entangled with you. Ballfairs froze. What did you say? You want to sleep with me? Are you insane? Edith smiled. I just have excellent taste. Don't worry, I won't cling to you after one night. I won't act pathetic. You don't even have to stay until morning. I like sleeping alone. Ballfairs suddenly rose to his feet. Haven't you heard the rumors about me? You must have to be this bold. He allowed a soft sigh. You really are fearless for someone raised so delicately. Edith gasped, Mr. Ballfairs. Ballfairs tilted his head. Maybe giving you a little lesson wouldn't be so bad. Excitement sparkled in Edith's eyes. Yes, teach me right now. In a hotel suite near the Red House, Ballfairs pinned Edith down on the bed. In a low voice, he murmured, relax. Edith struggled. I don't want to. Ballfairs bent down and ordered, Miss, spread your legs. His tone sharpened. I said spread them. Edith shoved them away. I said no. She sat up, grabbed a bottle, and drank straight from it. Ballfairs sighed. Honestly, didn't you say you could hold your liquor? Edith let out a drunken hiccup. Of course. I can drink tons. I never get drunk. Ballfairs snatched the bottle from her hand. Miss, if you keep drinking like that, you'll die. Edith let out a shriek. My alcohol. She collapsed to the floor, crying like a child. My precious booze. Ballfairs sighed. Miss, your drinking habits are really something. Edith raised tearful eyes. Are you saying I stink? She sniffed at herself. That's weird. I bathed this morning. Why would I smell? Ballfairs waved his hands in alarm. I'm not saying you stink. Edith suddenly understood. Oh, right. It must be because I spilled alcohol on my clothes. No wonder. She removed her soaked outer dress, revealing a lace slip underneath. Her silver hair spread out against the floral backdrop. She looked like a dream. Ballfairs stared, entranced. In a low voice, he praised, You're really beautiful. Your skin is pale and smooth. You don't look like a commoner at all. Are you really a commoner? Edith met his gaze. Yes, I am. Ballfairs moved closer. Perhaps the daughter of a wealthy merchant. Commoners really have gotten richer lately. He gently caressed Edith's cheek. You said your name is Edith. Where do you live? Edith lifted her head. Why do you need to know? This is just a one-night stand. I won't ask you either, so please don't ask me. Ballfairs chuckled softly. Mississippi, Aren't you curious about me? Edith lifted her face. Can I kiss you? Ballfairs froze. Edith kissed him first, but Ballfairs didn't respond at all. Edith paused. Why isn't he opening his mouth? Does he not like it? The strategy guide clearly said he likes breasts, but he hasn't even touched them. Then I'll make the first move. Edith's hand boldly slipped toward his pants. Ballfairs let out a muffled groan. His breathing turned ragged. Edith marveled, wow, he's so sexy. No wonder people fall for him, even with his terrible reputation. She kissed him again. This time Ballfairs responded, their tongues tangling together. Ballfairs gripped her shoulders tightly. Bending down, he whispered, now, this is where the real fun begins. Then Ballfairs abruptly stood up. Enough. I think your punishment has been sufficient. Edith's pupils trembled. What? She grabbed Ballfairs by the collar. What do you mean by that? Don't you want to sleep with me? I said you didn't have to stay until dawn. I wouldn't even ask your real name. The guidebook clearly said Ballfairs Toledo was the type to hide his identity and status, so I thought not asking questions would be the best way to tempt him. Ballfairs let out a soft laugh. You said you weren't curious about me. I don't like women who aren't interested in me either. Edith froze. Ballfairs caught her hand. Miss, don't date men who won't still be there in the morning. Edith's cheeks reddened. She hurriedly shouted, it's not that I'm not interested in you. You know that. Crying out, she said, you can't just sleep with me and leave like this. I thought this guy would be the easiest to capture. Why is this damn Ballfairs Toledo so hard to deal with? Ballfairs walked toward the door. He covered his mouth with one hand. His heart was racing. His body had responded. Ballfairs Toledo affection level, 3 stars. Edith lay on the bed, tossing and turning. If I'd known this would happen, I should have read the strategy guide more carefully. This isn't my fault. Who knew I'd get stuck in this damn game? Her face was streaked with tears. At least I should wash my face. She rang the bell by the bed. Jingle, jingle. Silence outside the door. Why is everyone so slow? Edith opened the door. Is no one here? She leaned her head out. Have you seen Dorothy or Jedi? A blue-haired maid turned around. No, Edith looked disappointed. Really? Where do they go? Then could you help me prepare some water for washing up? The maid's gaze turned sharp. Why me? Edith froze. The maid said, oh right, Miss Liliana is about to wake up. I need to bring her water to wash her face. Or why don't you do it for me? Edith stared in disbelief. What nonsense are you talking about? The maid threw a rag in her face. The Marquis gathered all the staff yesterday and said you can either work as a maid or leave the estate for good. Edith felt like she'd been struck by lightning. So if I'm no longer Lady Caballero, his threat to throw me out was real. The maid picked up the rag. So go clean the windows. Don't just stand there like an idiot. She leaned close to Edith, a twisted smile on her face. I don't want anything to do with the former Marquis's wife anymore, so don't let me see you again. She shoved the rag into Edith's hand. Go clean the windows, or pack your things and get out. Thanks to you, your 2 maids were punished with a week of laundry duty. They've really had it rough. Edith spoke up. Understand. Are you close with them? The blue-haired maid answered contemptuously. I'm Miss Liliana's personal maid. Why would I bother getting close to your maids? Edith asked, I don't remember your face. Did I bully you before? The blue-haired maid shook her head. No, but you always acted as if you were superior to Miss Liliana, when really you were just a filthy, illegitimate daughter. That's why I hate you. Edith stretched out her hand. I never bullied you. She suddenly grabbed the blue-haired maid by the hair. The maid screamed. Edith demanded coldly, even if I'm a maid just like you now, do you think throwing a rag in someone's face is acceptable? The maid shrieked in terror and fell to the ground. Holding her forehead, Edith muttered, what a joke. I need to speak with the Marquis and find out what exactly is going on. She entered the Marquis's room. Yes, I came here to understand situation. The Marquis folded his hands and smiled contemptuously. So you've finally come to your senses. Have you decided to beg for mercy? Go on, kneel and wag your tail. Edith looked at him. What exactly did I do wrong that I should beg for anything? But when a powerful man orders you to kneel, resistance is hopeless. She slowly bent her knees. The Marquis smiled in satisfaction. Good. As long as you obediently beg for forgiveness, I may take pity on you. I might even make you my private assistant instead of an ordinary maid. Edith raised her head, her eyes icy. I'd rather be a humble maid. A system notification rang out. Excellent intuition. The system has been moved by your sharp judgment. As a reward, a new mission has been generated. Mission: you're no longer Lady Caballero and have nowhere to go. Please carve out a new path for yourself. Edith froze. This is the reward for moving the system? Beggar route? Seriously? If I'd chosen that perverted Marquis's assistant route, who knows what he would have done? Looks like I have no other choice. Edith's finger moved to the option, Liliana Abina's personal maid. The system alert sounded again. You spineless coward. You have chosen the humiliating path of becoming a maid to your half-sister. Maid level 1. This option also comes with a cursed route. Liliana's angry shout came from the doorway. I heard you hit one of my people. You there, get over here. She grabbed Edith by the collar. His face is all bruised. It's so ugly I've lost my appetite. So you're going to serve me. Edith was dragged away. Thank you, really. I thought Liliana would work me to death, but she only had me do easy chores, like dusting her precious dolls. Liliana sat on the sofa, directing Edith. There's still dust there. Edith wiped the doll. I'm sorry. She'd never done any work herself, so she had no idea what hard labor even was. She hadn't actually assigned me anything difficult. Liliana looked at her thoughtfully. Edith was startled. Did she hear me talking? Liliana said, ordering you around like this, doesn't it annoy you? Edith replied, aren't you the one who understands my situation best? Liliana said, circumstances can change a person, sure, but can someone really change this much overnight? Maybe the saintess didn't just heal your body. Maybe she fixed your head too. This is insane. Edith stopped what she was doing. So, was it you who asked the saintess to heal me? Liliana's face instantly turned red. Edith gave her a sincere smile. I understand. Thank you. Liliana's cheeks were crimson. She shouted back, shut up. Anyway, you're my employee now. Standing to one side, Edith said, I'll do my best. Liliana continued, if you mess anything up, I'll fire you. So don't slack off. Edith held out a document. By the way, while we're talking, could you sign this? Liliana looked bewildered. What is this? Edith explained, an employment contract. Since I've officially been hired by the Marquis household, of course, I need a contract. I may not know much, but I'm absolutely getting overtime pay and holiday wages. Liliana looked utterly confused. So when she said she'd do her best, was it just for money? She shouted in exasperation. Bring me a pen. Honestly, I can't stand her. They say if you're going to be a servant, work for a noble house. The wages here are double the normal rate. After all, the house of Marquis Abina is still one of the great families. Standing on a ladder, Edith vigorously flicked a feather duster. And being Liliana's personal maid isn't tiring at all. This is great. I need to save money quickly and go see ball fairs again. A voice suddenly spoke. What exactly are you doing here? Edith turned around in shock. Curtis! Her foot slipped, and she fell from the ladder with a short cry. Curtis rushed forward in a single stride. He caught her steadily in his arms. The two of them met each other's eyes. Edith's violet eyes reflected his face. Curtis looked down at her, his tone cold. Honestly, are you trying to get hurt again? Edith stammered, thank you. Curtis set her down and looked over her ill-fitting maid uniform. What game are you playing now? Edith explained, this isn't a game. It's my job. I've been hired by the Marquis household. Curtis asked, why would you do this? Didn't your late mother, the former Marchioness, leave you a large inheritance? Edith explained, according to the Marquis, because I spent money recklessly, that money was gone long ago. They even say I'm still in debt. Curtis suddenly understood. So that's why you were so obsessed with the title of Lady Caballero. Edith turned away. But that's none of your business anymore. Please move. I have to clean the railings. I can't waste time here. Curtis isn't my true love anyway. Curtis said, you're not even going to ask why I came to the Marquis estate. Edith stopped. Isn't it because your mistress, the saintess, is staying here to treat me? She turned around. If it's about the official papers dismissing me from my former status, I already signed them this morning. Curtis's voice dropped lower. Are you angry with me? Because I let you end up like this. Edith answered calmly. Why would I blame you? It was that illegitimate daughter who squandered the family fortune. I'm not dissatisfied with my current situation. She climbed back up the ladder. Anyway, I'm busy, so please leave. If I finish cleaning the outside railings today, Liliana promised me a bonus. Curtis said, is money really that important to you? What exactly do you need it for? As Edith wiped the railing, she thought, yeah, I'm in a hurry. I have to deal with the other 4 within this time. I only had 1 year to begin with. 1 month has already passed. Now, there are only about 300 days left. Curtis looked at her. If you need money, I can give you some. After all, I bear part of the responsibility for your situation. He paused, but with your pride, you probably wouldn't accept it. I shouldn't have said that. Edith whirled around. I'd be happy to accept. Her eyes gleamed as she held out both hands. Please give me the money. Curtis was completely stunned. What exactly do you need money for, to go this far? Edith answered frankly, I need to go to the Red House. It's a matchmaking place. Curtis pressed. What are you doing at a casino like that? Edith said, there's someone there I need to meet. Curtis's face darkened. He clenched his fists, his body trembling slightly with anger. He turned and walked away. You really haven't changed at all. And for a moment, I actually thought you had. What a stupid mistake. A system window suddenly popped up before her eyes. You were about to enter Curtis's cold woman, regretful man route. Continue? Edith thought, I cleared Curtis's route 10 times. I've never seen this keyword before. And Edith was the one who exploited his weakness and blackmailed him. What does he have to regret? Is it because Edith fell from being a noble lady to a maid, and he feels guilty? There's a reward for entering the route, but I should skip it. Curtis isn't Edith's true love anyway. No need to waste time. Without hesitation, her finger pressed no. Another system window flashed. You have no interest whatsoever in Curtis's route. What a perfect cold woman. You selected the correct answer, entering Curtis's cold woman, regretful man route. Edith was stunned speechless. What is this damned system even saying? Route entry reward item, small divine power bag. Item, poker face mask. When equipped, you can maintain an indifferent expression in any situation. A must-have item for conquering regretful male lead Curtis. As a route reward, your charm, stamina, and elegance increase by 20. As a route reward, Curtis's arousal increases by 1 chili pepper. Once increased, arousal cannot be lowered. Edith screamed silently. I don't need that kind of thing at all. Maybe because I entered Curtis's route, my reputation rose too. Life as a maid grew easier day by day. One maid set a bowl of stew on the table. If it's not enough, I'll bring you more. Look at those skinny arms of yours. How are you supposed to work like that? I'm really worried. Miss Edith, you're so capable at work. Thanks to you, miss, work has gotten much easier lately. All the maids' faces were glowing. Another maid handed over a pudding. Here, this is for you. You like sweets, right? Edith's eyes lit up. Wow, pudding. It looks so delicious. Honestly, everyone treats me much better now than when I was still a noble lady. As my level rises, my reputation keeps climbing too. Being a maid doesn't seem so bad after all. One maid sighed. I really misunderstood Miss Edith before. She's so sweet and humble. Miss Edith doesn't just sit around. She's actually quick with her work. Trying to help proactively isn't always a good thing. Just look at that saintess, what's her name? Johnny. Edith scooped up a spoonful of pudding. I used to act like that, too, to raise Curtis's affection. Curtis likes girls who are a little clumsy and absent-minded. But Johnny isn't even a player, so why does she do such a stupid thing? A maid said, earlier she tried to wash peeled potatoes with soap, so we had to throw them all out. Good grief. Didn't she try to wash carrots yesterday, too? There she goes again. The kitchen door was suddenly pushed open. Johnny poked his head in. Hello, everyone. I've come to help again today. Hello, Mississippi. Edith smiled and waved a hand. You don't have to call me Miss anymore. Johnny said, how could I? Miss Edith, you're still the daughter of the Abena Marquis household. We wouldn't dare be so rude. Edith watched coldly. The way you say that makes it sound as if the servants who call me by name are all terribly rude. This girl's words sounded humble, but there were hidden barbs in them. Johnny continued. Can I help you today, Miss Edith? Please don't feel burdened. I just feel bad sitting around as a guest. Edith turned her face aside. Her help only makes things worse. Johnny smiled and picked up Edith's plate. I'll clear this away for you first. It looks like you're done eating. The plate was taken away. The pudding fell into the trash. Edith froze. Why did you throw out my pudding after I'd only taken one bite? Is she picking a fight, or is she really just hopelessly stupid? Experiencing this firsthand is making me question Curtis's taste. Then again, he's not much better himself. Speak of the devil. The door opened. Curtis walked into the kitchen. Johnny, so you're here. He went straight over to Johnny and laid a hand on her shoulder. A sharp pain stabbed through Edith's chest. Why does it hurt this much? Is it because he used to be my favorite character? She clutched her chest. System notification. Curtis's regretful man, cold woman route in progress. Right? I'm on the cold woman route. It seemed rumors had spread through the Marquis' estate that Curtis and Johnny, the otherworldly saintess who came to heal me, had an unusual relationship. Johnny looked at Curtis. Lord Curtis, I decided to come help Miss Edith today. Edith lowered her head. Another stab of pain came from her chest. In this mansion, even to Curtis, who had once been my knight, I had become a pitiful noble girl abandoned by everyone. Johnny continued, since she's a noble lady who was raised in luxury, rough work like this must be difficult for her, so I wanted to help. Curtis looked at Edith and asked coldly, why are you doing something that doesn't suit you? A system window opened, displaying a task related to Curtis's regretful man, cold woman route. Mission, accumulate Curtis's karma. Curtis's karma is the guilt that follows him at your side. Delve deeper into Edith and Curtis's past and uncover the karma he buried. Success reward. 50 divine power. Title, tragic heroine. Failure penalty, death. Accept mission. If I complete this mission, I can switch jobs into saintess and stop being a maid. The mission reward was a shining golden divine power bag, proof of being acknowledged as a saintess. Fill it with divine power. Edith's finger moved toward no. If I fail, I die. Why would I accept a death mission like this? I refuse. System message. The preparation time for accepting the mission is about to end. Edith's finger hovered in the air. This damn system. One day, I'll grind you and that assistant to dust. Mission accepted. The system window flashed a confirmation message. The karma bar above Curtis's head began to rise. Looks like I've already accumulated some karma. According to the mission description, I need to investigate the past and uncover the wrongs Curtis committed against Edith. Time to search this mansion thoroughly. Edith stood up and began moving. Curtis glanced at her, a trace of complicated emotion flickering in his eyes. As expected, traces of Curtis's karma were scattered all over the Marquis's estate. Edith's fingers brushed an envelope, and a buried memory surfaced. The Edith of the past stood in the middle of a room. Father doesn't seem to like me. Curtis sat on the sofa. Without even raising his head, his eyes fixed on his book, he said, "Impossible." Edith's voice trembled slightly. But after Liliana was born, he canceled my education as heir. Curtis finally looked up. Didn't you always hate studying? Is that why? Edith said, I didn't hate studying. It was just that father's training was so harsh, it left me exhausted. Curtis said, you always worry over trivial things. You should fix that habit. The fragment of memory faded away. System notification. Curtis's karma increased by 5. Edith looked at the system page. In only half a day, 60 of Curtis's karma bar had filled up. That bastard Curtis. No matter how the Marquis treated me, he should have trusted Edith at least a little. Edith stood there, lost in thought, then kept searching for the next clue. Strangely enough, both my father and the Marquis maintained respectable public images. Before the Grand Ducal family, they played the role of gentlemen. He had once comforted young Curtis after he lost his mother, and later even helped him when he was abused by his stepmother. How ironic. He was abusing his own daughter too. Edith's eyes fell on a portrait. An envelope icon appeared over it. Theodore. She reached out and touched it. A flood of memory poured in. Curtis grabbed Edith by the shoulders. My father sold Theodore off to the battlefield. Did you force him to go? Edith trembled all over. I was just afraid of losing you. Curtis was furious. How dare you use that innocent child's feelings? Just to keep me by your side as your personal knight? Theodore died because of you. System notification. Curtis's karma increased by 10. Edith hugged the portrait, her body trembling slightly. I see now. Edith had always loved Curtis deeply, enough to use his younger brother just to keep him. That must be why my heart hurts now. Maybe I should fill Curtis's karma bar all the way to 100. In the corridor, Curtis was walking straight toward her. His footsteps echoed through the empty hall. He stopped at the doorway. Seeing the portrait in Edith's hands, he asked, why do you have that child's portrait? Do you know how he died? Edith stiffened. Why are you here now? I knew Theodore too. What's strange about me keeping his portrait? Curtis's tone was cold. I've heard you've been getting close to the saintess lately. Are you planning to make her the second Theodore? Edith looked up at him. What do you mean by that? A system window appeared. A. I still believe Theodore died because of me. B. Yes, that is exactly what I plan to do with Johnny. C. How about giving me that money again like last time? Why bother asking? To be honest, I really wanted to ask for money directly, but now wasn't the time. Edith's finger pressed the option. Why bother asking? You wouldn't believe me anyway. She turned and walked away, leaving Curtis standing there. System notification. Curtis's karma increased by 15. Night fell. The red house blazed with lights. Edith sat at a table, lost in thought. All fares. I thought he'd be the easiest target, but seeing him is difficult enough. Maybe I should go after someone else first. The next target is Lucas, but finding him will require a huge sum of money. On a maid's wages, I can afford to rent a carriage to the Red House, but buying a slave through illegal channels? That's impossible. In a dark prison cell, a man hung from chains by his wrists. That was Lucas. Do I really have to buy Lucas like the original protagonist did? Or maybe I could sneak into the black market and steal him out directly. The bartender pushed a green drink across the bar. How does an innocent-looking lady like you end up infatuated with our boss? It seems like you're only looking at his face. Our boss's personality is much worse than he looks. Edith looked up. He didn't seem that way to me. Lowering his voice, the bartender said, I'm serious. Do you know how many people our boss cheated yesterday? He slid the drink toward Edith. Anyway, the boss won't be here for a while, so have a drink while you wait. Edith's eyes lit up. It looks so pretty. So delicious. Ballfair suddenly appeared and reached out to snatch the glass from Edith. Frowning, he demanded, "What kind of girl drinks like this in broad daylight? Miss, are you an alcoholic?" Edith answered calmly. "No," Ballfairs asked. "Then why do you drink every time you come here?" Edith said, "I don't have money to gamble, so all I can do is drink. After all, this place is both a casino and a bar." Ballfair sighed helplessly. "If you have nothing to do, why not just stop coming?" Edith let out a sigh. "Then I wouldn't get to see you." Ballfairs asked, "Why do you want to see me that badly?" Edith answered, "I already told you. Your face is completely my type." Ballfairs replied coldly, "But you're not mine." A faint smile rose on Edith's lips. "Looks like my face is exactly his type." Ballfairs leaned against the bar. "Miss, confidence is a good thing, but clinging to a man who isn't interested in you isn't very attractive." Edith shot back. "When was I ever clinging to you? I'm just sitting quietly at the bar, admiring your face." Ballfairs said, "But a customer who only drinks and never gambles, yet comes every day, isn't good for business." Kubo suddenly cut in. "That's not true. Boss, thanks to her, we've been getting more male customers lately. Some even come just to see her." Ballfairs turned his head, and the two men immediately flinched. Ballfairs looked at Edith. "Miss, it seems those rumors have made you think I'm easy to deal with. But no matter what kind of bastard I am, I don't just sleep with people casually." Edith raised her head. "So to you, I'm just someone casual? You dragged me to a hotel and saw my whole body. You clearly liked it then. Now that you've lost interest, you're just going to throw me away." Ballfairs froze. The Kubos whispered excitedly, "Wow, our boss is such trash. Doesn't he only go for people of his own kind? That girl looks so innocent. Now he doesn't even have standards anymore. As expected of our king of garbage." Ballfairs trembled with rage. He grabbed Edith by the wrist. "Mississippi, come outside with me." Edith struggled and shouted, "No, I'm a paying customer too. I paid the entrance fee." Ballfairs let out a sigh. He slung Edith over his shoulder in one swift motion. Edith screamed in panic, "Put me down. Put me down now." The Kubos whispered excitedly, "Oh, miss, looks like the boss finally gave in. Good luck, miss." Ballfairs pinned Edith against the wall. "Mississippi," he leaned down close. "Do you really want to sleep with me?" Edith smiled. "Yes, but not just sleep together. Hurry." Ballfairs lowered his head. "I see. Miss, you've fallen for me." Then his tone changed. "But I can't do that with you." Edith's eyes widened. "Why? Is there a problem?" Her gaze sharpened. "Wait, you're not a virgin, are you?" Ballfairs instantly went rigid. His face turned bright red. Edith covered her cheeks with both hands, screaming inwardly, "No way." Blushing furiously, Ballfairs demanded, "What's with that disbelieving look? Do I need a reason to protect my purity? I just don't want to sleep with anyone except my future wife." Edith thought, right? The male lead in a romance novel has to belong only to the heroine, and he has to be an experienced virgin. Even if he's never so much as held a girl's hand, everyone thinks he's a playboy, only for him to turn out to be a virgin. Readers would go crazy for that setting. Edith cautiously asked then, "Do you already have someone in mind as a wife?" Ballfairs shook his head. "Not yet." Edith's eyes lit up. "That's great. Then please consider me. Please let me be one of your wife candidates." Ballfairs looked helpless. "Miss, you really are hopeless. Are you mentally all right?" Edith's cheeks reddened. "Just in case, let me ask one more thing. Then, that kiss before, was that your first kiss too? That face, that body, and that attitude, was he really a virgin?" Ballfairs asked, "Why are you so shocked? Don't tell me it wasn't your first kiss." Edith hurriedly explained, "Of course it was my first kiss. You were my first." Ballfairs covered his mouth with one hand. "Is that so?" Edith thought, how could a mafia boss be this pure? But this is even better. Pure-hearted men are easier to manipulate. System message: you have entered the screaming woman / pure-hearted man route. This conflicts with multiple character routes. Please proceed with caution. Edith made up her mind. I have to make this work. System message: first date with Ballfairs Toledo successfully completed. Reward: defense plus 50, charm plus 20, Toledo Duchess's ring. Edith's heart skipped a beat. The reward for a successful date was the Toledo Duchess's ring. Wasn't it the noble family's heirloom? A huge ring with a gleaming green gemstone. Was he preparing for marriage after just one date? Whatever. That's a problem for later. Right now, I need to focus on escaping the game. Edith smiled brightly. Do you have plans this weekend? If you're not busy, would you go on a date with me? Ballfairs blinked. A date. Edith hurried to reassure him. Just one pure, innocent date. I swear I won't do anything. Really, I swear to heaven. Please trust me. This time she held up one finger. Ballfairs fell silent for a moment. Then he held out his pinky and hooked it with Edith's. Smiling, Edith said, "Then see you this weekend." Ballfairs let go of her hand. "It's late. I'll take you home." Where do you live? Edith's heart tightened. Someone's picking me up today. Ballfair's pressed. Who? Edith explained. Just an older man I know. Ballfair sounded slightly displeased. Looks like you have quite a few male friends. Edith hurriedly said, he really is just a friend. Ballfair said quietly, all right then. Edith waved goodbye. I'm leaving then. Ballfairs silently watched her retreating figure, lightly brushing his lips with his fingers as if deep in thought. Edith leaned on the stair railing. With a deep sigh, she thought, Edith is a classic villainous target. It's normal for him to hate her. But I have to find out why Ballfairs hates the Abina family so much. The door burst open violently. Ballfairs stuck his head in. Busy. A blond man looked up. He was Ballfairs' assistant, Majorca. Yes, boss. It's absolutely insane today. The place is packed. You're going to make a fortune. Ballfairs ordered. Since you have time, go escort that lady. Majorca complained. I just said I'm busy. And lately, the one seeing her is you. Shouldn't you be the one to escort her personally? Ballfairs gave him a chilling smile. What exactly did I say when I hired you? Majorca shudarat. I'll go right away. Ballfairs added, and while you're at it, find out who's picking her up. Majorca turned around. Just observe. Ballfairs' voice turned cold. Probably not, but if he's more handsome than me, you know what to do. Majorca hurried off. I need to catch up to that lady quickly. Ballfairs let out a faint laugh. Being with her, that is actually very interesting. Edith was cleaning the study. She had gotten home late last night and barely slept. Now she had to get up early and work again. What a nightmare. And Curtis came again this morning. I thought he'd stopped obsessing over me. But apparently not. Edith gripped the broom handle tightly. Just thinking about that arrogant bastard made her blood boil. A voice rang out. My, looks like this work is difficult. The Marquis stood there. You should accept my offer and become my personal assistant. Edith thought, I've seen too many handsome men lately, so suddenly looking at something like this really hurts my eyes. She greeted him coolly. Good day, Marquis. I need to avoid ugly things like this. They'll ruin my eyesight. The Marquis sneered. I pity you. I'll give you one more chance to choose. Edith stepped back. I am sorry. I don't have the confidence or the education to be the Marquis' assistant. He moved closer and lifted Edith's chin. I never intended to make you an assistant. His eyes were greedy. Be my mistress. Edith's pupils contracted sharply. Disgust and shock froze on her face. What? Edith violently slapped his hand away. What nonsense are you talking about? The Marquis looked displeased. I looked into it. This sort of thing isn't uncommon. Adopting a daughter and then marrying her. A few generations ago, it was even a trend among nobles. Edith burned with rage. Has he lost his mind? What is he even saying? Did he get struck by lightning? Besides, I'm not even his adopted daughter. I'm just his illegitimate child with another man's wife. The Marquis spoke again. A biological father doesn't necessarily have to be the husband, right? From the moment you were born, I knew you weren't my daughter, which means there's no problem between us. Edith stared at him in disbelief. How is there no problem? Think about your age. Even if we really were unrelated, how could I possibly become your mistress? This is beyond absurd. Edith turned to leave. The Marquis roared, I'm not finished talking. Where do you think you're going? He grabbed Edith by the wrist. Anger flared in Edith's eyes. She struggled hard. Let go of me. The Marquis sneered. You're kind of cute when you throw a tantrum. I let you off easy before, but it seems you've forgotten your place again. I'll have to take you to the punishment room. Edith said, do as you like, if you can catch me. The Marquis let out a cold laugh. Such fierce resistance after so long. I suppose it's time to use that. Edith's breath caught. That? What is that? Warning. Edith's mental strength is wavering. Warning. Edith's body is being eroded by the player's mental force. Warning. Status abnormal. Shortness of breath. Paralysis. Edith's body stiffened. She couldn't move. Inside the darkness, Edith screamed. No, warning. Edith's mental strength has temporarily collapsed. Unable to act due to abnormal status. The Marquis reached toward her. Edith broke down inside. Someone save me. A voice rang out. Marquis. The Marquis froze. Curtis stood in the doorway, expression cold. Oh, you're here. I heard from the butler that you were here, so I came. The Marquis forced himself to stay composed. You're here about business with the Grand Ducal House, aren't you? This is almost over. You won't need to come to the Marquis' estate so often anymore. Curtis's gaze passed over him and landed on the limp Edith. He spoke slowly. Then, Marquis, what exactly are you doing right now? The Marquis flew into a rage. Why are you asking that? I'm merely disciplining my disobedient daughter. He continued, roaring. You know perfectly well how bad her temper is. I have to correct her properly before it's too late. Curtis's gaze remained icy. But I heard you already expelled Edith from the house. The Marquis grabbed Edith by the shoulder. That was only to scare her and make her calm down. How could I truly drive out the child I raised with my own hands? He turned to Curtis, plastering on a fake smile. You know very well how much I cherish Edith. Haven't I begged you countless times to marry her and make her your wife? If I didn't think of her as a daughter, I would have given you Liliana instead. I'm a man who values family greatly. When your mother abused you, wasn't I the one who helped you? Curtis's eyes sharpened, but he said nothing. The Marquis waved his hand impatiently. No matter how close our families are, don't interfere in another family's affairs. It won't do you any good. Leave. Curtis turned and walked away. The door slammed shut. The Marquis glared in the direction he had gone. That rude brat. Just because he inherited the title of Duke, he thinks he could be so arrogant. Then the door opened again. Curtis said calmly, I know this is rude, but I just remembered something urgent I need to discuss with Edith. It concerns Lady Caballero. May I borrow her for a while? The Marquis's face turned ashen. Grinding his teeth, he said, fine. If it's urgent, there's nothing to be done. He stepped aside and turned away. Curtis's eyes followed his back until he disappeared out the door. Curtis reached out. Get up. Edith sharply slapped his hand away, her body trembling from fear. Curtis withdrew his hand and looked down at her. What was the Marquis trying to do to you just now? Edith breathed heavily. Why ask now? You never cared before. You never believed what I said. You never asked where I was hurt. You just stood there and watched. Curtis spoke again. Has the Marquis always been tormenting you? Why didn't you say anything? If that's the case, I can take you to Caballero. Edith looked up, her eyes full of mockery. Take me away? How generous, Your Grace. She looked straight at him. I don't need it. Edith abruptly stood up. At the very least, I don't need your help. She turned and left. Warning. Curtis's affection is nearly depleted. Edith sat alone beside the fountain, murmuring blankly, what am I supposed to do now? At this point, I can't stay at the Marquis's estate anymore. She covered her face with her hand. If the Marquis gives the order, even Liliana might hand me over. A figure stopped in front of her. A voice said, hello. Mississippi Balfair smiled. I had someone look into where you live. As expected, you're here. Edith looked up at him in shock. Lord Balfairs. Balfairs studied her. Miss, are you from the Abena Marquis family? You never told me where you lived. In the end, you really did deceive me. More than the shock of Balfairs appearing out of nowhere, it was the cold look on his face that made me truly realize how deeply disliked Edith was as a villainess. I was beginning to understand why Edith had slowly gone mad, and why she had tried to create her own world to escape into. Tears slid down Edith's face. Balfairs looked a little flustered. Why are you crying all of a sudden? He frowned. Don't think crying will stop me from holding you accountable. Edith sniffled. I live here. Balfairs softened immediately. I won't scold you. Don't cry. Edith burst out. I don't want to live here either. That disgusting Marquis makes my skin crawl. Liliana starts spouting nonsense the moment she sees me. Johnny comes over to pester me every chance he gets. And Curtis is the worst of all. Other people get transmigrated and live good lives. So why am I stuck doing exhausting maid work? I've had it so bad. I can't take it anymore. Balfairs wiped her tears with a handkerchief. All right, miss. I understand. I know you don't want to live here. I also know maid work is hard. I apologize for what happened before. All right. Edith thought. Actually, I'm not even really a maid. Balfairs sighed. Don't cry anymore. Miss, if you keep crying, you'll dehydrate. Suddenly, he swept Edith into his arms. Edith let out a startled cry. Balfairs looked down at her. Let's get out of here first. If the Marquis finds out I came, he might really start a war. Edith looked bewildered. A war, Balfairs explained. The Marquis and I have some history. Edith stammered. Then why did you come here? Balfairs lowered his gaze to hers, the corner of his lips curling into a smug smile. What do you think? I came to see you, miss. Edith lowered her head. Lies. He came to expose my identity and confront me about my deception. How could someone who was supposed to be innocent and pure be so good at stirring hearts? The place he took me to wasn't the Red House, but a grand mansion owned by the Toledo family in the capital's bustling district. Edith's cheeks reddened. Wow, this place is so luxurious. Ballfairs gently set her down. Go wash up and change first. Two maids came forward and dressed Edith in magnificent clothes. I thought the exterior of this mansion already looked more expensive than the Abina Marquis' estate, but the diamonds on these clothes, and those shoes too, must cost a fortune. I chose this outfit thinking Ballfairs might like it, but if things go wrong, I'll have to grab him and run. After changing, Edith looked at herself in the mirror and gave a satisfied smile. The maids were full of admiration. Miss, you look pure and elegant. We thought this sexy dress wouldn't suit you, but the result is astonishing. Edith smiled. Thank you. There was a knock at the door. From outside, Ballfairs asked, Miss, it's me. Have you finished changing? May I come in? Edith answered, Yes. Please come in. Ballfairs pushed the door open. What took you so long? His words stopped short. Edith turned around. I accidentally fell asleep in the bath. Ballfairs instantly froze. His eyes stayed fixed on her, and a blush spread across his face. Edith called softly, Lord Ballfairs. Ballfairs snapped back to himself and turned his face away. Edith stepped closer. Do I look that pretty? Ballfairs immediately looked elsewhere. No, it's just, you look a little cold, but if you like it, you can keep it. Edith thought, he looks kind of cute when he's flustered. Then she asked, then should I wear this on our date too? Ballfairs suddenly shouted, Are you crazy? Edith looked puzzled. What? Ballfairs gestured excitedly. Dress like that, you'll freeze to death. Edith answered blankly, but it's summer right now. You're so adorable. I thought I'd be able to relax a little at Ballfairs' mansion, but then the system notification sounded. Dereliction of maid duty. You have been fired by Marquis Abina. Your former employer, Liliana Abina, is now searching for you. Please forge a new path. A. Become Ballfairs Toledo's mistress. B. Become Marquis Abina's exclusive mage. C. Become a beggar. D. Become a saintess. This option has been locked. Edith opened her eyes. Early in the morning, what is this? Looking at the system panel before her, she thought, I absolutely can't let bounty hunters chase me around. Without hesitation, her finger pressed option to become Ballfairs Toledo's mistress. The system notification sounded. As always, you have chosen the shameless mistress route. Occupation, mistress, level 1. Class bonus, appetite increase. Great, I'm finally free from maid life. Branch quest, the duties of a mistress. A woman who does not labor must still inherit the diligent spirit. Do housework in Ballfairs' mansion. This damn game really won't let me rest for even a moment. Failure, no penalty. Then I'll give it a try. A knock came from outside. Edith answered softly. Comaine, a maid entered. You're awake. Would you like me to prepare water for washing? Edith waved a hand. No need. Actually, is there anything I can help with? The maid blinked. Miss, you want to help? Edith explained, I used to be a maid. For certain reasons, I'm staying here now, but I feel bad eating and living here for free. Please let me help with some chores. The maid's cheeks reddened. Then could I ask you to do the laundry? Today happens to be the day the laundry gets sent out. Edith answered confidently. Of course. Laundry is what I do best. The sun was shining brightly, and under the blue sky, the mansion looked especially grand. Maybe I'm just fated to work myself to death. Edith rolled up her sleeves and skirt and stood in a wooden tub full of water, stomping hard on clothes. If I tire out my body, maybe my heart won't hurt so much. If only Edith's past could be washed away this easily too. In the game, her backstory was insignificant, an unnecessary setting. Why did it have to be written so cruelly? Whenever I remember that I once killed her for no reason too, my chest aches. Edith wiped the sweat from her brow. Don't think about depressing things. Just keep washing. Then a voice suddenly called out, Mississippi, are you an exhibitionist? Ballfairs strode over. Why are you always taking your clothes off in front of people? Edith turned around in shock. Who are you calling an exhibitionist? I only took some clothes off because it was hot, and I didn't know you were here. Ballfairs said, but why are you doing laundry here? Who told you to work? Edith answered, no one told me to. I was just bored. Ballfairs' tone softened. You can relax a little. He smiled gently. Working at the Marquis' house must have been hard. Edith's cheeks turned red. His sudden kindness made her heart race. Ballfairs asked, why are you smiling like that? Edith lowered her head. Because I'm happy. Ballfairs pressed. Why are you happy? Edith beamed brightly. Because of you, my lord. Ballfairs' heart jolted. Miss, you're far too bold. Edith looked confused. How was that bold? Ballfairs sighed. What if you get entangled with someone like me? Edith looked at him. What would be so bad about that? You're handsome, rich, and kind. Your profession may be a little suspicious, and you look a bit like a thug, but you even fit the pure-hearted virgin setting. Edith grabbed his hand. You're absolutely fine. please get entangled with me. Her foot slipped, and she lost her balance, falling backward. Balfairs went pale and lunged out a hand. Water splashed everywhere as the two of them fell into the tub together. Balfairs tightly shielded Edith's head. Edith apologized softly. I'm sorry. Balfairs let go. Inside, Edith cried out, that's not what I meant. Honestly, I'm really living up to my filthy title. What do I do now? I need to think of something. If I push too hard right now, this timid little herbivore might run away. Balfairs stood up. Then I'll be going. Edith shouted hurriedly. Balfairs immediately turned around. Miss, what's wrong? Edith frowned as if in pain. I think I twisted my ankle. Balfairs looked at her suspiciously. But your fall didn't look that bad. Edith defended herself. My bones are fragile. Balfairs sighed. Then you should eat more. Edith took the chance to grab his hand. Then, could you help me to the mansion entrance? Edith pleaded softly. Please. Balfairs asked back me. Edith tested him again. If you're busy, should I ask someone else? She pointed into the distance, where the vice captain happened to be passing by. Balfairs suddenly shouted, Are you crazy? At last he gave in. Fine. I'll take you myself. He helped Edith out of the tub, then urged, Come on. Why are you still standing there? Edith looked aggrieved. I need your arm to stay steady. Balfairs froze. He held out his arm, and Edith immediately hooked herself around it. A smile appeared on her face. Thank you. Come to think of it, I was trying to seduce Balfairs, but because I keep accidentally touching sensitive places, now even Edith's cheeks were burning hot, and her body felt warm too. Balfairs suddenly stopped. A trace of panic flickered in Edith's eyes. Did he notice? I wanted to take it slowly so I wouldn't scare him off. Balfairs suddenly crouched down, his back to her. Get on. Then he urged again, Come on. This is even better. Edith secretly rejoiced. Being this cute only makes me want to tease him more. She leaned close to Balfairs' ear. But I'm kind of wet. Your back will get soaked. Is that really okay? Balfairs turned his face slightly. It's fine. Get on. Edith climbed onto his back. Idiot. This is way more exciting than just leaning on him. She whispered. Balfairs, you'll get soaked too. What should we do? Balfairs gritted his teeth. I said it's fine. Edith brushed a hand over his chest. This part wasn't wet before, but now it is. What should we do? Balfairs clenched his jaw. I'm seriously going crazy. I have to endure. Edith suppressed a laugh. Should I push a little further? She spoke softly. Could you hold but a little tighter? Your grip is too loose. I'm afraid I'll fall. Balfairs hesitated. All right. His hands tightened, securely supporting her. Edith gave a satisfied little hum. Balfairs came to an abrupt halt. Coldly, he asked, Are you playing with me right now? Edith's expression froze. What? Balfairs' eyes sharpened. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Warning. Pure-hearted man Balfairs has begun to doubt scheming woman Edith's intentions. He deeply detests frivolous sexual temptation. Risk of failure in the pure-hearted man plan is increasing. Oh no, how is he completely unmoved by this level of seduction? Edith hurriedly explained, I think because I was grabbing onto you too tightly, I accidentally made a sound. Balfairs fell silent for a moment. I see. I thought you were doing it on purpose. Edith let out a breath. Thank you for carrying me back. By the way, have you ever done sports or anything? Your shoulders are really firm. Balfairs shook his head. Not really. Edith held his arm. Then why are they so solid? Your back is really toned too. Balfairs looked troubled. Miss, touching people so casually like this can give the wrong impression, even if you don't mean it that way. Edith immediately withdrew her hand. Did I make you uncomfortable? Balfairs hurriedly shook his head. That's not it. Then a voice called out. Edith. Curtis appeared before them, breaking the atmosphere between the two. A knight's duty is to protect and liberate his lady. A lady's duty is to respect the knight who protects her. Curtis was a conservative man. In his life, he had almost never gone against the duties assigned to him. Even Edith's unreasonable demands, he would fulfill them one by one, because he had once sworn to live as her knight. And only recently, Curtis had finally been legally freed from one duty heavier than any other. Then why is she standing with that man? Why does that smile surprise me so much? Why is she smiling like that? I stayed by her side for over 10 years, yet I never once saw that expression. Edith jolted. Your Grace. Curtis stiffened. She doesn't even call me Curtis anymore. Balfairs muttered. Your Grace? The Duke of Caballero, Curtis said coldly. If you truly understand what that title means, you should have lowered your head. Balfairs brushed his chin. I wasn't educated. Edith observed him. Even in front of the Duke, he didn't waver in the slightest. He claimed to be uneducated, yet he owned a magnificent mansion standing in the very heart of the imperial capital. Curtis clenched his fists. Who exactly is this man standing beside Edith? Edith stepped forward. Your Grace, why are you here? Curtis looked at Edith's swollen lips. How much suffering had her lips endured to become like that? Curtis's gaze hardened. I came to take you to the ducal residence. At the Duke's residence, you'll never have to suffer like this again. Edith's eyes widened in alarm. What? What do you mean by that? Balfairs stepped in front of her. I'm afraid that won't do. He looked directly at Curtis. I already have an appointment with this lady. Edith hurriedly grabbed Balfairs' arm. I'll just say a few words to him. I'll be right back. Balfairs frowned. Don't. Edith held her head in both hands. Why is everything always so troublesome? She grabbed Balfairs' arm. Just a moment. I'm really fine. The Duke is someone I knew back when I lived at the Marquis' estate. Balfairs sighed. He turned and walked toward the mansion. All right, I understand. The mansion doors closed behind him. Edith spun around. How did you know I was here? Curtis answered calmly. I sent someone. Edith glared at him. Why did you suddenly show up and say you'd take me to the Duke's residence? What exactly do you mean by that? Curtis explained. After you disappeared, Marquis Abina has been looking for you. If you get caught, it'll be troublesome, won't it? Edith refused to yield. Even if I were caught, I'd deal with it myself. That's none of your concern. Of course it would be troublesome if the Marquis caught me, but going to the Duke's residence right now would be just as absurd. There are no capture targets there except useless Curtis. Edith turned her back to him. We're done talking. Please leave. Curtis continued. Even the saint is worried about you. If you don't want to go to the Duke's residence, you can go with him to the Grand Cathedral. He can protect you in his role as a saint. Edith's pupils suddenly contracted. Your Grace, you didn't tell Johnny I was here, did you? Please, Curtis. I know you're dense. But please, not this time. Curtis's expression remained calm. Don't worry. Edith let out a breath of relief. Thank goodness. Curtis looked firm. I promised not to tell anyone. I only told him because I was worried you might be in danger. The saint also promised to keep it secret. Edith shouted, You lunatic! How could you casually reveal someone's location? That's an invasion of privacy. There was no way that empty-headed saint would simply believe Curtis's side of the story and stop there. He would definitely do something. Edith yelled, Enough. Go back. I'm never going to the Duke's residence. She turned and ran toward the mansion. I have to get back before Johnny does something to Balfairs. Curtis silently watched her go, his fist tightening slightly. A flash of purple light. Mission complete. Gather the regret of Curtis Easel. Reward. Victory plus 50. Charm plus 31. Curtis's affection gauge is now full. Title changed. Tragic heroine. Edith stared at the panel before her. This is bad. The affection gauge filled up all by itself. What the hell did that bastard Curtis do? Could it be something went wrong with Balfairs' route? I got a bad feeling about this. Edith rushed into the mansion. Lord Balfairs. Balfairs stood on the stairs. Mississippi, did your talk with the Duke go well? Edith let out a breath. Good. It looks like nothing's happened yet. She ran up the stairs. Yes, it went well. No trouble. Balfairs nodded. That's good. Edith thought, before anything else interferes, I need to finish my task with Balfairs first. She smiled. So, what about the date we promised each other? Balfairs cut her off. I'm afraid I can't date you now. Edith's smile froze. Why? Balfairs' gaze dropped to Edith's completely unharmed ankle. More importantly, your injured ankle seems to have healed already. Edith was momentarily speechless. Balfairs spoke slowly. I'm just an uneducated merchant, so I value trust very highly. Coldly, he called her by her full name. Edith Abina. A red light flashed. Mission failed. Balfairs turned away. Mississippi. You really are a liar. Mission failed. Balfairs Toledo has rejected your date invitation. Balfairs affection -2. Charm decreased. Edith reached out in panic. Lord Balfairs, wait. Balfairs sharply slapped her hand away. Edith lowered her head. I am sorry. I didn't mean to deceive you from the start. Actually, at first I really did mean to deceive you. But I wasn't trying to hurt you. It's not like that. Balfairs asked back, isn't it? Edith thought back. I guess it is. Balfairs let out a short laugh. Leaning down close, he said, Miss, do I look like a joke to you? Was it fun to play with me? Edith quickly denied it. No, it wasn't fun. I never thought you were a joke. Balfairs gave a cold snort. Right. I was stupidly happy because of you. That must have looked ridiculous from your point of view. Was life as a Marquis' daughter too comfortable? Were you so bored that you tied on an apron, pretended to be a maid, and tried to seduce some low-born man who works the night shift? Edith clenched her fists tightly. I never meant to hurt him like this. She lowered her head. I'm sorry for deceiving you, but it really wasn't because I was bored. Balfairs turned away. Get out. I don't want to see you again. And don't ever come to this house again. Edith rushed toward a carriage. Curtis was with me, so this had to be Johnny's doing. Damn woman, if I catch you, you're dead. She yanked the carriage door open. Johnny jumped. Edith climbed into the carriage. Was it you who told Lord Balfairs that I'm from the Abina family? Johnny looked blank. Who's Balfairs? Edith gestured furiously. Red hair, green eyes, bronze skin, huge chest muscles, amazing body, ridiculously handsome. Johnny suddenly understood, clasping his hands together, his eyes shining. You mean that man who looked a little improper? Yes, I told him your identity. I was worried he might do something improper to a young lady who was raised so innocently and purely. Edith could hardly believe it. So, because you were worried about me, you exposed my identity without permission? Johnny nodded. Yes, at least I wanted to scare him a little. Though I have no right to interfere, he looked far too dangerous. His clothes, his behavior, all of it. Edith suddenly realized these were originally the heroine's lines in Balfairs' route. The heroine misunderstands Balfairs as some delinquent and puts up emotional walls against him. And because Balfairs feels hurt by the rejection, he becomes even more persistent. But now there's no player controlling anything. So why would Johnny say these lines on his own? Edith's voice turned cold. Because of you, I lost the place I was staying. Johnny immediately suggested, then miss, come with me to the cathedral. Edith's voice held no warmth at all. And if I enter the cathedral, what role would I have there? Are you planning to make me your attendant? You say you were worried about an innocent young lady, yet you turned around and exposed her identity. And the place you prepared for her is, as the saint's maidservant. Back when I was still the player, there really was a route like that. Making Edith the saint's lifelong attendant was one of the many options for capturing Curtis. He must be wearing that innocent face while trying to ruin me completely. Johnny looked at her blankly. Miss, Edith suddenly grabbed him by the collar. Johnny screamed in terror. Miss, what are you doing? Edith raised her arm. This time, I'm not letting you off. The carriage shook violently. Johnny's cries came from inside. Help, miss, stop. Then the carriage door was suddenly yanked open. Curtis stared in shock at the scene inside. Edith, what are you doing? Edith slowly let go. Johnny collapsed weakly against the seat. Edith's voice was icy. Are you blind? Curtis was furious. Edith, you really are. Edith stepped barefoot out of the carriage. Curtis's voice was strained with anger. Why are you taking your anger out on the innocent saint? I don't even need to ask. It's because the saint is mine. Edith cut him off. Move. Of course, I couldn't possibly beat Curtis, the northern duke who stood over 6 feet tall. But he would never hit Edith, no matter what I did, because that was the kind of person he was. Edith prepared to leave. So annoying. Curtis grabbed her wrist. Where are you going? Edith violently shook off his hand and shouted, Don't touch me. Curtis said, Anyway, you have nowhere left to go now, don't you? Edith shot back coldly. What does that have to do with you? Who was it that ruined every place I could go? Who stripped me of my title as a duke's daughter and drove me out of the Marquis's estate? And who revealed my identity without permission and got me thrown out by Balfairs? The one behind all of this was you. Curtis's pupils contracted as he stared at her in shock. Edith turned and walked away barefoot. Johnny trembled inside the carriage. A gloomy voice rang out. You let Edith of Abina get away. Johnny covered her mouth, gasping. I am sorry. A woman in magnificent clothes said, I told you. You should have killed her while she was still in the Marquis's estate. No matter what, Edith must never become the saintess. Do you understand? Johnny trembled as she answered, Yes. The woman's voice turned even harsher. Otherwise, you will. Johnny shook all over. She had finally found her again, only to lose her once more. Curtis rushed into the carriage. Are you all right? Johnny regained her composure. Yes, I'm Euphine. Where did Miss Edith go? Did she tell you her destination? Curtis shook his head. No, she didn't say a word. It seems she doesn't want me interfering in her life anymore. The saintess protested anxiously. What do you mean? That can't be. Miss Edith loves you, Lord Curtis. Curtis turned around. That isn't love. The Edith who was obsessed with me belongs to the past. So, saintess, please stop worrying about her. Johnny said, since Edith doesn't want you to worry about her. But Lord Curtis, aren't you worried about her? Curtis's gaze was firm. She's been smart and capable since she was little. She'll manage on her own. Johnny lowered her head and said nothing. Edith looked at the system window before her. Curtis's affection had increased. I thought treating him that rudely would make it go down. I never expected this. Is this that whole cold-hearted girl and regretful man trope or something? Curtis's affection, 52. But what's the point of Curtis's affection going up? The moment I possessed Edith's body, I successfully spent a night with Curtis. But I still couldn't escape this game. This won't do. Since I got kicked out by ball fairs, I should check what I have first. She opened her inventory. Didn't it say that if I filled the divine power bag, I could change my class to Saintus? Alright, because I never transferred the divine power into the vessel. The new class quest never unlocked. She stretched out a finger and lightly touched the divine power starlight, pouring it into the bag. A system notification sounded. Divine power bag full. You may now change your class to Saintus. Edith's pupils shifted slightly. Being a Saintus is still better than being dead weight, but I'm still carrying massive debt. Another system message popped up. You have been expelled from your workplace. A new quest has appeared. Please forge your new path. A. Runaway maid. B. Beggar. C. Saintus. Edith stared at the options. Why is the Saintus option locked? I already filled the divine power bag. The system message appeared. The Saintus class can only be activated at the Grand Temple. Edith clenched her fists. Damn it. So my only choice right now is beggar. From noble lady to maid, then freeloader, and now a beggar. She jabbed hard at the beggar option. The system announced, you have chosen the path of downfall for a former noble lady. Class, beggar LV.1. Due to class penalty, your reputation has decreased by 50. Edith seethed with anger. Being a beggar is humiliating enough already. And there's a penalty too? The system prompted again. Current class, beggar. Please proceed to your new workplace. Beggar's back alley. Cloaked in a hooded cape, Edith walked alone through the narrow alley. After becoming a maid, I become a beggar now too. This is so unfair. Behind the bustling street where the red house stood was Beggar's back alley. A woman begged from passers-by, please spare something. My sick, frail mother is starving to death. Another blonde girl held out a bowl. Kind lady, have pity on a fallen noble. Edith watched coldly. They look like they're doing pretty well. I'll try that later. Then she noticed an empty spot. That place is open. She set down the white wildflower she had picked along the road. I'll try selling these for today. A boy suddenly appeared. Who are you? Edith looked up in alarm. The boy planted his hands on his hips and demanded, who are you? Why are you here? Edith said, can I be here? The boy barked loudly. Of course not. This is my territory. Edith was incredulous. There are territories, even for begging? The boy shoved her aside. That's right. This side is the kid's zone. The adult zone is over there. Edith cried out, I'm trying to sell these, don't. The boy kicked over her stall. Wildflowers scattered across the ground. You damn brat. Take your stuff and get lost. A system notification sounded. You are approaching Aslid von Bernhard. Find him within the marked area to increase the chance of triggering a hidden route. Edith's purple eyes narrowed slightly. Aslid? If it really is Aslid, then that means the Crown Prince. A romanceable character. But why would someone like him be in a back alley? A new quest popped up. For some reason, Aslid is wandering the back alleys. Find him before he falls into danger. If the quest fails, the hidden route will close. Failure penalty. Morality -50. Edith clicked her tongue. What kind of failed quest drops that much morality? But do I really need to care about morality? I'm not exactly a moral role model. And I don't need morality points to romance Curtis anyway. Even so, she reached out and pressed accept. The system issued instructions. Search for Aslid. A glowing arrow appeared before Edith, pointing the way. She turned and followed it. I see. The closer I get to Aslid, the bigger this arrow gets. Edith's eyes lit up and a greedy smile spread across her face. The little boy who had chased her off stared at her in horror. Dear God, why did this lady suddenly go crazy? Edith didn't care in the slightest. I remember there really was a quest like this in this scenario. If I save the Crown Prince, I can get a huge amount of money. She sprinted after the arrow. Back then, this wasn't even a romance quest. It was just a hidden item quest. She stopped abruptly. This doesn't look like a place you can just walk into. The arrow pointed toward an even deeper, darker alley. Edith hesitated for a moment. No choice. I have to go in. She pulled her cloak tighter and stepped into the darkness. Suddenly, a furious roar rang out. A burly man was kicking and punching someone lying on the ground. He shouted, "You stupid bastard! Didn't I tell you to entertain the honored guest properly? I bought you because of that face. And now in front of a customer, you can't even stand up?" Edith stared in horror. What is this? Her pupils widened in shock. She finally saw the face of the person on the ground. It was Aslid. Aslid was curled up on the floor, breathing painfully. The burly man muttered, "We'd better loosen him up somehow. Otherwise he won't sell." He unbuckled his belt. Edith's pupils contracted sharply. Wait, I have to protect His Highness the Crown Prince at all costs. The burly man turned around. Who the hell are you? Edith straightened her back. I can't back down. If I lose momentum here, it's over. Thank goodness for this cloak. It hide my ragged clothes. I can pretend to be a noble lady who doesn't want to be recognized. She raised her chin, her voice cold. Is this how this establishment speaks to its customers? The man froze. Customer. A glint of gold flashed through Edith's violet eyes. The burly man immediately bent low. My apologies. Very few guests come through the back entrance. I didn't recognize you. Edith replied coolly. It's my first time here. I got lost. The man said, then please allow me to escort you inside. Edith glanced at Aslet on the ground. What about that boy? He has a rather pretty face. The man explained, he's a new slave in the shop, but he can't satisfy your needs. No matter what we try, not even the drugs work. He can't stand up at all. Edith cut him off coldly. I don't care. I don't need him to stand. A lewd smile of sudden understanding spread across the burly man's face. Ah, so that's your preference. He immediately nodded and bowed. Understood. We'll prepare him and send him to your room. Edith looked down at Aslet on the floor. He hung his head weakly and said nothing. The man led Edith to a shabby room. Please wait a moment. He took out a bottle. This is your wine. Our establishment requires payment in advance. Edith looked at the cheap liquor. Even ball fairs wouldn't touch whiskey this cheap. So this isn't some secret gathering place for nobles at all. She looked up at the burly man. How much is this wine? The man named the price. 100 resos. Edith gave a cold laugh. I'll give you 1,000. Take this garbage away and bring me a bottle that's at least Illis quality. The man stammered in shock. 1,000 resos? He immediately switched to a more obsequious expression. Of course. Would you like me to move you to a better room as well? Edith said coolly, that's more like it. I hate cramped rooms like this. The man's eyes lit up. We just renovated a special suite with a raised platform. I'll take you there right away. Edith glanced at her funds. 5 resos. She calculated inwardly. I'll find a way somehow. The burly man led her into a luxurious suite, then turned and whispered to a subordinate. She's an important guest. Treat her well. A system notification chimed. Quest complete. Congratulations. You have found Aslet. You are now entering the hidden route. Sunshine Girl and the boy with PTSD. Reward, charm plus 50. Morality plus 50. Aslet affection plus 5. Aslet knelt on the carpet, trembling all over. Edith sat on the sofa across from him, calmly watching. She asked softly, what's your name? Aslet flinched violently. No name. Saw the... Edith's expression darkened. He's either been drugged or hypnotized. How did it end up like this? There was nothing like this in the original game. I never tried to romance Aslet, but because of his status, I saw him several times in the game. Across 10 playthroughs, Aslet was without exception the crown prince every time. In my memory, he was always somewhat arrogant, yet brimming with confidence. A textbook crown prince. And his hair color was different too. Whoever sold him here must have dyed it to hide his identity. He used to be the most handsome of all the romanceable characters. Seeing him like this is honestly depressing. Then a system notification sounded. A mission related to Sunshine Girl and Loyal Puppy Boy has appeared. Mission. Remove the suggestion placed on Aslet. Success reward. Morality increase. Affection plus 30. Crown Prince's token. Failure penalty. Aslet's death. Edith sucked in a sharp breath. Death? If I refuse, the quest will count as failed automatically. And the penalty is death? Forget confirming whether Edith is his true love. Can a romanceable character really just die like that? She had no choice. She could only extend a finger and tap. Accept. System directive updated. Remove the suggestion placed on Aslet. Edith clasped her hands tightly. How am I supposed to remove the suggestion? How exactly am I supposed to? Aslet suddenly lifted his head. His eyes were empty. Then, all at once, he pounced on her, grabbing Edith tightly and muttering under his breath with all his strength. Edith screamed in terror. Ah, that hurts! The room door was flung open. The burly man stormed in, roaring, what the hell are you doing? He kicked Aslet in the back. Get out. The man hurriedly apologized to Edith. I'm terribly sorry. Like I said earlier, he's defective. I'll replace him at once with someone more suitable. Edith stared coldly at the figure on the floor. How much is that boy? The man blinked. You mean him? But you saw it yourself. He's useless. Edith cut him off. I want to buy him. Name your price. The burly man looked troubled. Our establishment doesn't usually sell slaves. Edith turned as if to leave. Is that so? Then forget it. The man immediately stopped her. But miss, since you asked, I'll give him to you at cost. 10,000 resos. Edith thought 10,000 resos? How could a beggar like me possibly have that much? But no matter what, she held out a hand. I didn't bring cash. I'll write you a check. Bring me a pen. The man bowed apologetically. Sorry, we only accept cash. Edith said, I didn't bring that much cash today. The man bowed again. Then unfortunately, you won't be taking him today. Edith let out a faint laugh. You are truly ignorant. This was your chance to earn the favor of the Marquis of Abina. The burly man's face changed drastically. What? The Marquis of Abina? Edith took off her hood. That's right, the House of Abina. She slowly lifted the hood away, and long silver-white hair spilled down like moonlight. Haven't you heard? The Marquis of Abina's daughter. Silver hair like moonlight and the scent of violets. The man dropped to his knees. Please forgive me. I failed to recognize the young lady of House Abina. A check will be enough, then. Edith smiled brightly. Good. Then draw it up in my name. Edith Abina. The burly man chased after her. Miss, please take this too. Edith asked, what is it? The man explained, it's a magical tool for restraining slaves. If you get bored, or if he disobeys you, all you have to do is press this gem and whip him. Aslid let out a scream. Edith shouted at the burly man, I know how to use it. Take it away. The man respectfully stepped back. Then please travel safely. Edith stood at the doorway. What now? I can't exactly drag the crown prince around begging with me. This is a disaster. Aslid rubbed his cheek against her hand, making a little whining sound like a puppy. Edith looked at him. Is he asking me to pet him? He really is like a little dog. Edith gently stroked his head. Even beggars sometimes have dogs following them around. It's not that strange a picture. She let out a helpless little laugh. I was planning to just find some random place, spread newspaper down, and sleep for the night. But that clearly won't work now. Even if a penniless girl like me can sleep on the streets, I can't let the crown prince sleep there. Edith brought Aslid to a pawn shop near the entertainment district. She turned to him and said, I'll be right back. Wait here for a bit. Aslid grabbed her hand at once, panic on his face. Don't abandon me. Edith soothed him. I'm not abandoning you. You just need to stay by yourself for a little while. Aslid suddenly clung to her. Edith froze. What do I do? Right, I still have that. She took a piece of chocolate from her item box and put it into Aslid's mouth. Eat this while I'm gone. I'll be back very soon. Can you wait for me? She waved, then turned and entered the pawn shop, leaving Aslid behind alone, like a puppy waiting for its owner. The pawn shop door creaked open. Edith stepped forward. This is a pawn shop, right? I want to pawn something. The shopkeeper looked up. Yes. What item is it? Edith took out a dress. This gown is covered in gemstones. How much can I get for it? This emergency dress is something I secretly brought out from Balfour's mansion. The shopkeeper carefully inspected the gown. The trim here is high-quality lace, and the gems are fine diamonds too. For a dress like this, I can offer 1,000 resos. Edith snatched the dress back at once. Are you blind? I can't leave my dress in a place with no eye for value. I'll go somewhere else. She turned to leave. The shopkeeper hurriedly called out, Wait, I'll give you 2,000. Edith said lazily, 2,500. The shopkeeper wailed. If you take that much, we won't make anything. Edith raised the price again. 2,800. The shopkeeper looked close to tears. Why does the price keep going up? Edith said, now it's 3,000. That's compensation for wasting my time. The shopkeeper finally gave in. Please wait a moment. I'll prepare the money. A victorious smile spread across Edith's face. Amazing. I actually drove the price up to 3,000. I should have asked for even more. A voice came from behind her. Are you really going to sell that dress? Miss, you're as frugal as ever. Edith whirled around. Lord Balfour's. It's not what you think. Balfour stepped closer. Of course. Naturally, you wouldn't want to keep something given to you by someone as lowly as me. Edith's whole body went rigid. I'm not selling it because I hate it. I'm sorry. She clenched her fists tightly. To get safely to the temple, I really need this money. I should apologize and take the dress back. Balfour's crossed his arms, his tone flat. It's fine. Sell it. If you want to sell what I gave you to wear, then do it. I don't want your dirty, used clothes back anyway. Edith's violet eyes shook violently. Don't let Balfour's words hurt you. I'm not the kind of person who has the right to be hurt by him. She took a deep breath. All right, thank you. The shopkeeper came out. Boss, what brings you here? Balfour said, I was just passing by and saw a familiar face. More importantly, make sure you give that dress a fair price. After all, I was the one who gave it to her. The shopkeeper quickly replied, Yes, boss. This young lady is very skilled at bargaining. I've already offered her a suitable price. Balfairs nodded. Good, then I'll be on my way. He turned and left. Edith stared blankly at his back. I only came here because I desperately needed money. It's not that I truly wanted to sell it. Things are really urgent. If it weren't for that, I would never have left something you gave me in a place like this. Balfairs stopped at the doorway. He didn't turn around. The door closed softly. Edith stood there, her fingertips cold. Balfairs Toledo's affection has decreased. With the money from selling the dress, I rented a small house on the outskirts of the capital. It's old, but not bad. A monthly rent of 1,000 resos is a good deal. Edith looked at Aslid. Since you don't remember your name, I'll give you one. She gently tugged on his collar. How about Ryan? For now, this is our home. Rest here for a while. I need to go buy some medicine for your injuries. She turned to head out. Ryan looked panicked. He suddenly grabbed Edith's hand, his eyes brimming with tears. Edith froze. Why are you crying again? I'll be right back. At the pawn shop? I kept my promise to, didn't I? Ryan only sniffled softly. Then he abruptly turned and rammed his head into the wall, mumbling, "Don't abandon me." Edith rushed over in alarm. Stop. But Ryan only hit it harder, muttering, I have to be punished. Edith sighed helplessly. All right, I won't go. I'm not going anywhere. She stroked Ryan's head. Has the drug already worn off? This guy's medicine is going to cost me a fortune too. No helping it. I'll have to use the emergency medicine I brought from the Marquis' estate. She cupped Ryan's face. I will never have a reason to punish you. So don't do this again. Ryan looked at her. Not punish me? Edith's voice softened. You're a good boy. Why would I punish you? Ryan repeated blankly. Good boy. Edith smiled. That's right. Why would anyone punish a good boy? Get up and wash yourself. She pointed toward the washstand nearby. You can wash there. After that, I'll put medicine on you. Ryan lifted his shirt, exposing an abdomen covered in scars. Edith's pupils contracted at once. Those damn bastards. How could they beat someone this badly? Who would do this? To the Empire's only crown prince? The original game never explained a royal family's background, so I can't even guess. Ryan saw her tense expression and thought she was angry. Are you angry? Edith pressed a hand to her forehead. I'm not angry at you, so you don't need to apologize. Ryan reached out and untied her cloak. Edith froze. Ryan, what are you doing? Ryan stammered, wash master. Edith hurriedly explained, I didn't mean wash me. I meant you should wash yourself. Ryan stubbornly repeated, master dirty. Edith suddenly paused. Maybe I can confirm something. Whether Aslid really is Edith Abina's destined love. Ryan leaned closer. Edith's breathing stopped. Wait, Ryan didn't stop. His tongue lightly licked across Edith's neck. Edith's cheeks turned red. What? Didn't it say he wouldn't react no matter what? This is insane. There's no way this should be possible. If it worked with Curtis, then maybe it would work with him too. Ryan looked up at her. I like your scent. Edith trembled. What the hell? What kind of upbringing did this kid have? Can I really do something like this? With someone who's out his mind? She cried out, Ryan, wait. When I said wash, that's not what I meant. I meant actually wash clean. Ryan was silent for a moment, then stubbornly repeated, I'll help you wash. Edith's reason was crumbling. I just wanted to check whether Aslid is Edith's true love. Suddenly, a glaring red warning box exploded before her eyes. Warning. If you have relations with Ryan while he is under suggestion, the tragic second male lead route will be destroyed. Continue? Edith gritted her teeth. This is insane. If the route is destroyed, the penalty is Ryan's death. I absolutely can't do that. Ryan looked at her in alarm. Are you angry? Edith turned her face away. No, I'm not angry. At least not at you. She turned on the faucet. Water rushed out. You just need to get clean. You don't have to do this to me. Come here, Ryan. I'll wash you myself. As she wiped Ryan's back, Edith thought, at this rate, my body's going to turn to stone. Just wait. Once I escape this game, I'm definitely giving you a bad review. Ryan lowered his gaze. Silent. Edith sat by the bed, looking at the blonde Ryan in front of her. Wow, your hair color has started to return a little. Now I'm going to put medicine on you, so don't move. She reached out and touched his back. Ryan shuddered sharply. Edith immediately soothed him. Don't move. Ryan obediently fell still. Edith gently applied the medicine. I know it'll sting a bit, but bear with it. Otherwise, it'll scar. She looked at the wounds on his back. Scars like these are definitely going to remain. You're such a beautiful child. If your mother saw you hurt like this, how heartbroken she'd be. Ryan's body stiffened. Mother. Edith froze. Come to think of it, is there even an empress in this empire? Ryan's eyes filled with confusion. He pointed at Edith. Mother. Mama. Master. Edith jolted. I am absolutely not your mother. After what just happened, and now you're calling me Mama? Ryan's cheeks flushed red. In a tiny voice, he said uncertainly, "Master." Edith's heart was struck. Too cute. She cleared her throat and pretended to stay calm. "If you really insist on thinking that way, since I'm taking care of you, you can call me Master." Ryan's eyes instantly brightened. A radiant smile bloomed across his face. "Master." A system message surfaced. Aslet has escaped abnormal status. Wounds are slowly beginning to heal. Suggestion removed. 10. Edith let out a breath of relief. Thank goodness. I was worried about what I'd do if the suggestion didn't lift. Looks like all he needs is proper food and sleep. The problem is, he's so cute. What if I actually start falling for him? Ryan buried his face in Edith's chest and rubbed against her lightly. Once the suggestion is gone, he'll turn back into that arrogant crown prince. He'll never stay by my side like a pet. Edith shook her head. The suggestion has only just started to lift. I can't think like that. She smiled and said, "Ryan, let's eat." She looked at the window in front of her. I already gave him all the chocolate. There should still be some potatoes left over from when I was a maid. Suddenly, someone knocked at the door. Edith stiffened. Who is it? A visitor looking for the previous owner of this house? Her heart started pounding. Did the Marquis find me already? She clutched her collar tightly. I just moved here. There's no way he found me this quickly. She tried to calm herself down. If I don't open the door, they'll eventually go away. A harder pounding came from outside. Miss Edith. Edith's eyes widened in shock. Wait, that voice. Johnny knocked on the door. It's me. Open up quickly. Edith's expression froze. How on earth did Johnny find this place? Outside, Johnny pleaded, "Miss, please open the door." Edith stared at the old door, which looked as if it might break any moment. What do I do? This door is too old. If she keeps pounding, it'll break. No, I have to get rid of her before she makes an even bigger scene. She turned to Ryan. "Ryan, can you go wait in the room for a little while?" She watched Ryan enter the room, then quickly locked the door, even securing the extra latch. She took a deep breath and opened the front door. Johnny's anxious face appeared through the crack. "Miss Edith." Edith looked at her expressionlessly. "Saintess, what are you doing here?" Johnny grabbed the door frame tightly. "Miss, thank goodness you're all right. At least open the door properly." Edith replied coldly, "No need. Say what you have to say from outside." Johnny forced a smile. "All right, let me apologize first. I am sorry. No matter how worried I was, I should never have revealed your identity to that person." Edith tried to shut the door. "I accept your apology. Now, leave." Johnny pushed hard against the door. "Wait," Edith warned her. "Let go. Otherwise, you'll get hurt." Johnny shouted urgently. "Don't you want to report the Marquis?" Edith's movement stopped. Johnny's voice came through the crack. "I know about all the filthy things he did to you. I can stand before the temple and testify for you." Edith's gaze sharpened. "How do you know what the Marquis did to me?" Johnny's voice held a trace of panic. "Lord Curtis told me." Edith gave a contemptuous laugh. "He really can't keep his mouth shut. I'll deal with the Marquis myself. I don't need your help. Please go back, Saintess." Johnny pushed against the door again. "I bear responsibility for your situation. I have to help." Edith cursed under her breath. "Damn it." She slammed her fist against the door. Johnny cried out in pain, but she still didn't let go. "Miss, this time there's real danger. The Marquis of Abina is nearby. I saw him flying into a rage over the debt you left behind." Edith's body went rigid. "What?" A system warning box flashed. "The Marquis of Abina is approaching. If captured, Edith Abina's mental strength will collapse." Edith covered her mouth, trembling in fear. "He really is nearby. What do I do? Where can I run?" Johnny tried to reassure her through the door crack. "Don't worry, Mississippi. I can stop the Marquis from finding you. You don't have to be dragged back to that punishment room." Edith's pupils shrank abruptly. How does she know about the punishment room? A shrill alarm exploded in her mind. "The Marquis of Abina is moving quickly. The Marquis of Abina is nearby." Edith's mental strength is beginning to collapse. She clutched at her chest. Breathing became difficult. Johnny's voice came through the crack again. "Miss, I have teleportation powers. Before the Marquis finds this place, I'll take you somewhere else. Open the door." Edith thought quickly. This is too dangerous. Even if she's suspicious, I have no choice but to accept her help right now. She spoke in a trembling voice. "Then come inside." She released the bolt. Johnny immediately pushed the door open and stepped in. Edith held onto the doorframe, her voice weak but firm. "But on one condition," Johnny asked in confusion. "What condition?" Edith said, "If teleporting with you means going to the temple, I refuse. For all I know, you're just planning to drag me back there and make me your servant happen again. Johnny clenched both hands. I won't go to the temple. I swear in the name of God. In this world, if a saintess breaks an oath sworn in God's name, she dies. Edith covered her mouth. At least she won't drag me to the temple. She said, take me somewhere the Marquis can't find. She turned and called out, Ryan, come out quickly. We have to leave at once. Ryan came out of the room. Johnny froze. Who is that? Edith moved protectively in front of Ryan. He's someone I recently took in. She thought to herself, what should I call him? A pet slave or the crown prince? Johnny's gaze moved back and forth between them. I see. This must be the latest trend in the capital. Were you taking him with you too? Edith nodded. I have no idea what you're thinking, but yes. Please. A thunderous crash came from outside. The door shook violently. The Marquis's voice pierced through the wood. Edith, are you in there? Edith urged, teleport us now. Johnny responded immediately. All right. She clasped her hands together and began to chant. Golden light flared up around her. The door burst open. The Marquis rushed in. The teleportation light swallowed everything. Edith wore a triumphant expression. When the light faded, Edith and Ryan appeared on an unfamiliar street. It was silent all around them. Edith looked around. Where on earth did Johnny send us? I've never seen this place in a game before. It was too chaotic earlier to notice, but the fact that Johnny can use teleportation magic is suspicious in itself. None of the Saintess skills I know include teleportation. In the original game, the only class close to a mage was the hidden route I took, Dark Shaman. Edith supported Ryan and asked softly, do you feel a little better now? You must have been scared. Don't worry too much. I'll protect you. She smiled and stroked Ryan's cheek. Since Ryan is the crown prince, once the suggestion is gone, there should be some way for him to return. Ryan's cheeks flushed red, and he closed his eyes, enjoying her touch. A system notification sounded. Aslad's mind has stabilized. Suggestion removed, 10. Suggestion remaining, 67. Edith was secretly delighted. Quite a lot has already been removed. Good job. You deserve praise. She leaned close to Ryan and lightly kissed him on the cheek. The system notification sounded again. Aslad's mind is stabilized. Suggestion removed, 2. Suggestion remaining, 65. So a kiss on the cheek removes suggestion? Then would a kiss on the lips remove even more? Edith cupped Ryan's face and kissed his lips. A prompt appeared. Aslad's mind is stabilized. Suggestion removed, 5. Suggestion remaining, 57. Looks like it won't go down any further this way. A woman suddenly appeared and shouted at them, don't do that out in the street. Go get a room. Edith hurriedly apologized. By the way, is there any nearby? The woman blinked. So you really were planning to get a room? She sighed. Then come with me. I happened to run an inn. Edith relaxed. Thank you. The woman led them forward. You two look like outsiders. What wind blew you here? Edith answered vaguely. It just happened. I don't even know where this place is. The innkeeper explained. You really don't know? This is the kingdom of Shalma, bordering the Alfheim Empire. Many races live together here. Unlike those hypocritical imperials, slavery is legal here and quite common. But at least slaves are treated humanely, so don't think it's strange. All right, this is my inn. She held out a hand. Miss, your room is 301. That's a special room with a large bed. Edith asked a little awkwardly. And how much is it? The innkeeper answered cheerfully. Of course, only about 100 resos. Exhausted, Edith collapsed onto the bed. She took Ryan's hand. Come lie down with me. Today must have been hard on you. Ryan asked quietly, where is this? Edith drew Ryan into her arms. Don't worry. I'll definitely take you home. I want to go home too. If only Ryan were the one who could take me back home. Ryan said nothing. A system notification sounded. Aslad's mind is stabilized. Suggestion has fallen below 50. Suggestion remaining, 48. Aslad has gained time to break free from the suggestion completely. Edith drifted into deep sleep. Ryan slowly sat up. He touched Edith's cheek. Then he removed his outer robe. In one swift motion, he turned over and pinned Edith beneath him. I suppose I can only take you back to my home instead. He kissed Edith on the lips, this time steady, deep, and unwavering. Morning light filtered through the iron-barred window and fell across the bed. Edith turned over and let out a faint murmur. A warm sensation touched her. Ryan was kissing the top of her foot, reverent and gentle. Edith woke in a daze. Rubbing her eyes, she mumbled, what is that? She sat up and saw Ryan kneeling beside the bed. Edith patted his head. You woke up early. Ryan held her shoulders. Good morning. Breakfast. Edith laughed softly. Are you hungry? Then I'll wash up and we'll go eat. The system warning rang out sharply. If you engage in any form of sexual activity with Aslid while he remains under suggestion, the route will be destroyed. Continue? Edith's pupils shrank abruptly. She shoved Ryan away. Wait. Ryan looked up, cheeks flushed red, a trace of confusion in his eyes. Why? Edith's heart pounded wildly. It should be fine if it's just with hands, right? The system wouldn't count that as sex. The system alert sounded again. By any method, if the target experiences climax, it will be regarded as sexual activity. Continue? Edith clenched her teeth. Ryan, I think we'll have to skip breakfast. Ryan's mouth fell open. Edith closed her eyes and let out a long sigh. It's not just you. I'm going crazy too. But my escape and Ryan's life are both hanging by a thread. I have no choice. She opened her eyes and kissed Ryan on the cheek. I'm sorry, Ryan. Let's go eat breakfast instead. The market in the kingdom of Shalma bustled with people. Edith gripped Ryan tightly. I said no. Stand still. Ryan let out a wronged little whine. Edith thought, what's wrong with him? Is it because I stopped him earlier? Ryan's gaze was caught by a street jewelry stall. He struggled to go over. Edith held on to him. Is it because he's the crown prince, so he's fixated on jewelry? Edith sighed. Fine, then let's look at this stall. If there's something you want, pick one. Since he wants it that badly, I'll buy one. Ryan leaned over the stall, eyes shining. He picked up a necklace and held it in his palm. Edith asked, do you want that one? Ryan nodded vigorously. Edith turned to the vendor. Excuse me, how much is this? The vendor pressed his hands together and smiled pleasantly. When asking the price, please use a lovely greeting. Edith blinked. Was I too rude? She quickly corrected herself. Hello, how much is this necklace? The vendor smiled even more brightly. A lovely greeting, dear customer. Edith's mouth twitched. What does he mean, a lovely greeting? She took Ryan's hand. Let's go somewhere else. Ryan held onto the necklace, looking pitiful. Edith took a deep breath. She clasped her hands and forced out the sweetest smile she could manage. Hello, thank you very much for selling such lovely items. May I ask what the price of this necklace is? The vendor placed a finger to his lips. Please ask the price in a whisper. Edith stared. This isn't some secret shop. Then she looked up and saw the sign, private shop. So it really is a secret shop. She lowered her voice stiffly. How much is this necklace? The vendor replied quietly. 100 resos, dear customer. Edith cried out, that's too expensive. It looks mass-produced. Please make it cheaper. The vendor looked hurt. Mass-produced? How rude to the seller. I personally dug this treasure out of the mine myself. I inspected it very carefully. Even the ore was amazed by me. Edith gave up arguing. Fine, I understand. Please give me the necklace. The vendor accepted the money. Please come again. Edith handed the necklace to Ryan. Here, your necklace. Ryan looked at her. Edith froze. Good heavens. He still remembers my name. Ryan put the necklace around her neck. Edith blinked. So you wanted to give it to me? I thought you were going to wear it yourself. She hugged Ryan. Thank you. I'm the one who paid for it. So why am I this touched? You must be hungry. Shall we get something to eat? A shadow brushed past her. Edith instinctively reached for the money pouch at her waist. It was gone. Her pupils contracted sharply. A thief. She pointed at the fleeing figure. Ryan, catch that person. No matter what, you have to catch him. Ryan shot forward like a bolt of lightning. In an instant, he lunged out. Edith panicked. That was all the money we had. Ryan grabbed the thief by the arm. The thief struggled. Damn it. Let go of me. Ryan held on tightly. Give it back. Edith came running up, out of breath. Ryan, good job. The thief shamelessly turned it around on them. Are you this bastard's owner? He broke my arm. How are you going to take responsibility? Edith stared at him in disbelief. You thief. You're filthy, diseased, and a menace, and you still dare to spew nonsense? Your arm is obviously fine. Get lost before I call the guards. The thief narrowed his eyes. Guards? He let out a sneer. There are no guards in Sharma. Here, nobles can commit crimes openly. You're not from around here, are you? Seeing you drag around a slave all day, I thought you were a noble from the kingdom. No wonder your purse was so light. He shoved the money pouch back into Edith's hand. It's illegal for foreigners to own slaves. Want me to report you and collect a reward? Edith froze. What? Didn't you just say there were no guards here? The thief turned to leave. There are no guards here, but there are private soldiers of slave traders everywhere. A foreigner slave is the same as a slave with no owner. A hand suddenly shot out. It grabbed the thief by the collar. You rat. Finally caught you. The thief was slammed hard to the ground. He let out a muffled groan. Damn it. 2 men closed in. To make sure you never run again, I'll cut off all 4 of your limbs. He looked at Edith. What is it? Just standing there watching, noble lady? Edith paused. Because of Ryan, everyone thought I was some noblewoman. He went on. Or maybe, do you have something to do with this man? Edith's heart tightened. If the thief exposed me as a foreigner, then Ryan was an illegal slave. The thief stayed silent. The man waved impatiently. If not, then stop blocking the way and get lost. Edith nodded. Right. She watched the thief being taken away. What's going on? Why is he pretending not to know me? Dusk fell. Edith sat in a tavern. That man felt like he got caught because of me. She let out a sigh, propping her elbow on the table, looking dejected. A waitress came over. Miss, did something happen? You look down. Edith answered, I just saw a young man being dragged away by an old pig-faced bastard. The waitress asked curiously, was his skin dark and his eyes bright yellow? Then he must be one of the Ton tribe. The Ton are very hard to tame, so people are always trying to escape. They're beast folk. Only under the full moon do their ears and tails appear. They once lived freely in the Haben Mountains in the north of the kingdom of Sharma, but their king sold all his people to a neighboring country. That's why they became the hardest slaves to tame. Edith shuddered violently. A king sold all his subjects into slavery? I played this game 10 times, but I've never heard of anything like that. She asked urgently, then what happens if a runaway slave gets caught? The waitress answered flatly, usually they're brutally killed as a warning to the others. Edith pressed her fingertips to her lips. What do I do? If Ryan regains his senses, maybe we can save that slave. I feel awful. Let's try to find him first. But there are too many slaves here. It won't be easy. Edith stood up. Ryan, let's go out for a walk. If we can't find him, then I guess that's just his fate. The two of them entered the slave market. Edith's pupils shrank. It's him. A man was swinging a club, smashing it hard against the slave's body. This guy can really take a beating. Why not just sell him and buy a new one? Considering your build, go catch another obedient slave. Maybe then I'll let you off. The slave collapsed to the ground. Edith cried out. That man passed out. Wait, is he dead? A merchant came up to her. Are you here to buy a slave, miss? Don't mind that useless thing. Edith forced herself to stay calm. Yes. The merchant handed her a price list. Please have a look first. Edith was stunned. Why is it so expensive? Even if I spend all my money, I can only rent him for a week. But at least it would save his life. She made up her mind and pointed at the fallen slave. I want to rent him for 1 week. The merchant looked troubled. That guy is hard to handle. He'll probably run away. Edith's tone was firm. I still want to rent him. The merchant warned her. In that case, if he runs away, the responsibility is entirely yours. Are you sure? Edith didn't hesitate. Yes, I'm sure. The merchant grinned. Then I'll write down a week's rental fee. He crouched down and untied the rope around the slave's hands. Edith and Ryan supported him and left. A purple screen unfolded before Edith's eyes. Target character, Lucas, wandering in the kingdom of Sharma. Find him before he reaches the Grand Temple. Success reward. Lucas affection plus 20, charm plus 20, stamina plus 20, hidden Lucas route unlocked. Failure penalty, hidden Lucas route locked. Edith frowned. Isn't he the temple slave from the main story? Not a sex slave, but a slave who serves the gods. He wasn't supposed to appear until much later. Why is the system saying he's here now in a foreign land? Since there's no penalty for failing anyway, I'll accept it. Edith let out a terrified scream. Ryan, no. Put that person down. How can you throw someone out the window? Ryan looked innocent. Throw away. Throw away. Edith cried out. How could you do that in an instant? She hurriedly explained. If you throw him out, he'll die. She snatched the slave from Ryan's hands. Give him to me. Edith laid him on the floor. She crouched down. Not a single part of him is uninjured. At the very least, I need to put some medicine on him. The slave suddenly sat upright. He grabbed Edith by the wrist. Who are you exactly? Edith jumped in surprise. I rented you for a week for now. I'm your temporary owner. The slave asked, why rent me? Edith looked away. Because you didn't report me and Ryan. It's been bothering me, and you misunderstood. Ryan is not my slave, she said loudly. I'll find his home and send him back. What's your name? What should I call you? The slave stood up. Slaves don't have names. Call me whatever you want. Edith said then, Mr. Slave, I paid a lot to rent you for a week. You should at least do some work. The slave grinned. I knew it. You've fallen for me. He leaned close and pinched Edith's chin. Then take your clothes off. Want me to do it for you? Edith froze. What? The slave said, didn't you say you wanted me to work? Why are you reacting so strongly? He pulled Edith into his arms. Edith looked baffled. What is going on? Though she didn't exactly hate it, she suddenly snapped to attention. Ryan was watching them. She hurriedly pushed the slave away. That's not the kind of work I meant. The slave snorted softly. I see. You're a noble, aren't you? So what kind of work did you mean? Edith cleared her throat. She handed him a stack of papers. Go outside and put these up. Missing person notice. Name, Lucas. Features, silver hair, purple eyes, extremely handsome. If seen, report to the inn. Generous reward. She took out a tracker. The system shop gave me this. Don't even think about running away. The slave took the notices. Even if I'm a slave, my mind is still free. Holding the flyers, he turned and left. Edith watched his back. He has the tracker, so he probably won't run. I'll let him go later. But not yet. Should I secretly follow him and see? She quietly followed after him and hid around a corner to spy. That guy had better post them evenly. The slave was putting up the flyers. Edith was a little surprised. He's already put them all up. If he catches me following him, he'll definitely be upset. I better go back first. She turned and hurried away. The slave returned to the inn. Mistress, I plastered them all over the nearby walls. Edith looked at him. He didn't seem to notice anything strange. She said, panting, good job. The slave's voice came. Mistress, why are you breathing like that? Edith hurriedly explained, I was exercising in the room, so I'm a little hot. The slave's tone carried a trace of suspicion. He glanced at Ryan on the bed. Didn't you say you wouldn't do anything with a slave? Edith was stunned. What are you even thinking? And I told you, Ryan is not my slave. The slave lightly rested his fingers on her shoulder. Then what about me? Is it because I'm a slave, so you think I'm dirty and won't touch me? He leaned in, an unreadable smile on his face. Edith shoved him away. What did I ever say you were dirty? Her hand pressed against his chest. More importantly, do you really want to sleep with me? The slave paused. What? Edith looked straight at him. I only sleep with people who want me to. So if you do, tell me. The slave froze. Is she trying to seduce me? Edith slowly stood up. Of course, when Ryan isn't around. The slave looked at her. You're a crazy owner. Edith said, so if you want to sleep with this crazy owner, just let me know anytime. The corners of the slave's mouth slowly lifted. Let's do it now. The moment you said that, I suddenly wanted to. Edith turned back in shock. What did you say? The slave suddenly pinned her against the wall. Edith's pupils contracted sharply. There was a huge scar across his face. The slave's voice was low. Don't like it? If you don't, we can stop now. Edith shook her head in confusion. It's not that I dislike it. A handsome, strong man is throwing himself at me. I have no reason to refuse. But I said we can't do this where Ryan can see. Ryan was sprawled on the bed, sleeping soundly. The slave chuckled. He can't see right now. That bastard's asleep. What's the problem? He pressed Edith down onto the table. Your hips are beautiful. Edith's body trembled. She struggled. Don't touch me. The slave's voice turned heated. Why? Doesn't it feel good? His voice went cold. Endure it. Edith let out a scream. The slave leaned close to her ear. If you make that kind of sound again, I might develop a taste for it. What do you want me to do, mistress? Say it yourself. Edith was trembling all over. He's the slave, but he's more used to giving orders than anyone. Ryan turned restlessly on the bed. Edith jolted awake. Ryan. She rushed to the bedside. Ryan, are you okay? Are you sick? She reached out and touched his forehead. He doesn't seem to have a fever. Could this be a side effect of the hypnosis? The slave stood nearby. That bastard is definitely doing this on purpose. Edith turned and ordered him, go to a nearby general store and buy some medicine for headaches or fever. The slave insisted, I told you, that bastard is faking it. Edith glared at him. Don't call Ryan a bastard. She urged him loudly. Go and come back quickly. The slave unwillingly pulled up his hood. Ryan stood by the window. There isn't a single thing I like about this country. He lowered his head. His eyes fell on Edith, asleep on the bed. Except this woman. He gently lifted Edith and laid her properly on the bed. That slave. Edith fell asleep, and he still hasn't come back. Did he run away? She couldn't be dreaming about that crude bastard, could she? I wouldn't even dare touch her without permission. He set Edith down on the bed. In such a short time, how many times did that bastard touch her? I can't leave behind any traces from scum like him. He hesitated. Should I do it or not? Just go in directly? That peaceful sleeping face was a complete mess from tears. That could be fun too. The slave's voice rang out. You really are a complete pervert. Ryan turned his head. The slave stood with arms crossed, voice cold. What are you doing, holding a sleeping woman like that? Ryan sat on the edge of the bed, his voice hard. Shouldn't you have run away by now? Whether a runaway slave betrays his owner is none of your business. The slave stepped closer. Mistress is too naive. I can't just leave her like this. If I don't keep an eye on things, that innocent owner of mine will get devoured alive by the dog she's raising. Ryan glared at him. Do what you want. I said it's none of your business. The slave laughed softly. That won't do. He leaned closer. Because now I want you to have a taste of what I can do too. Edith stretched. I slept so well. She opened her eyes. What's with those expressions? The slave and Ryan were glaring at each other, sparks practically flying. So as not to wake Edith, they had spent the entire night silently staring each other down. Edith got out of bed. Did you two fight? The slave whipped his head around. Would an owner fight with a beast? Edith jumped. Why are you snapping at me? The slave immediately restrained his anger. I'm not angry. Sorry for scaring you. Edith thought, he's much calmer than yesterday. Anyway, I don't have much time left. I have to undo Ryan's hypnosis. And I need to find Lucas. She walked over to Ryan and gently stroked his cheek. Ryan, are you feeling better? But I only know Lucas's name and appearance. How am I supposed to find him? A quest prompt appeared. Find Lucas. Once per day, you may check your distance from Lucas. Lucas is currently within a 1-kilometer radius. Edith gasped. 1 kilometer? That's really close. She sprang to her feet. I have to find him before he goes farther away. She ran for the door. If he's within 1 kilometer of the inn, then he should be in one of the nearby buildings. Edith rushed out of the inn, her eyes sweeping over the street. Lucas! She suddenly stopped. A rough voice rang out. Lucas, you lazy bastard. Why aren't you moving faster? A man was whipping another laborer. Move it. Everything has to be delivered by noon. The man being beaten panted heavily. Edith watched the scene. So, it's just a common name? The slave's voice sounded beside her. All male tuck slaves are called Lucas. In Samaya, Lucas means jackal. Edith whipped around. Really? That's not his real name? It's just what slaves are called. If I don't even know his real name, finding that Lucas will be like finding a needle in the desert. Maybe I should give up. Wait for the next mission. Suddenly, a commotion broke out. Edith and the slave turned toward the sound. A man was shoved violently to the ground. Edith was about to rush over. I have to stop him. The slave grabbed her arm. Where are you going? Edith struggled hard. Let me go. I have to stop him. She cried anxiously. What if he gets beaten to death? The slave's face was expressionless. If he dies, he dies. So what? He's just a privately owned slave. The only loss is that fat merchant's money. Edith gave a mocking smile. You're a slave too. Doesn't it make you angry? Then she suddenly realized. Damn. She lowered her eyes, then spoke slowly. Sorry. You must be even angrier than I am. I shouldn't have said that. The slave chuckled. Apologizing to a slave? You're a strange owner. Edith looked up. You may not believe me, but I don't think of you as a slave. I brought you out because I didn't want you to be sent back. Even when the deadline comes, that won't change. The slave's eyes sharpened. You want to buy me? Do you have the money? Edith faltered. Not exactly, but I'll find a way to set you free. The slave asked coldly, why should I believe you? Edith shook her head. Don't just stand there and watch. Wait and see. The corners of the slave's mouth twitched. What a hopeless woman. He suddenly strode forward and grabbed the fat merchant's wrist. Enough. Unless you want a tuck slave to stab you in your sleep. The fat merchant shrieked in terror. Whose slave is this? Killing intent flashed in the slave's eyes. You're a slave too, yet you're even more arrogant than your owner. The fat merchant panicked. Guards, guards, grab him. Edith shouted, let's go. She pulled up the slave on the ground. You come with us. The fat merchant roared behind them. My slave has escaped. Call the guards. The three of them ran into a secluded alley. The rescued slave stopped. You're really just letting me go like this? Without asking for anything in return? Tears welled in his eyes. Thank you. You even used a fighting slave to save me. I'll never forget this kindness. Edith waved her hand. It's okay. Go. Run as far as you can. The rescued man handed her a note. My name is Luke. If you ever pass by the eastern coastal village of Arunkas, please come find me there. Edith took the note. So besides Lucas, you have another name? Luke explained, yes. I wasn't originally a slave. My business failed, and I couldn't pay my debts. He looked at the slave. And thank you for saving me, too. He clasped the slave's hand tightly. The slave said coolly, you've already thanked my owner. Luke insisted, but I still wanted to thank you personally. Thank you for saving my life. He handed something over. It was a gift of thanks. Ordinarily, a slave's property belongs to the owner. I should have confiscated it, but I didn't want to take away his gratitude. I didn't expect it to cause trouble. A few mornings later, the man who was supposed to be returned had run away. Edith stared at the empty room. Damn it, today's the final deadline. I never expected Luke's gift to be a magic item that could block the tracker. All that was left on the table was a broken ankle shackle. Loud banging sounded at the door. Miss, are you in there? Edith whipped around. The slave trader is already here. The pounding grew louder. Mississippi Edith rushed to Ryan's bed. Ryan, wake up. It's only at 3 now. It'll wear off by the end of today. Sorry, but you need to hide. Edith yanked open the wardrobe. If they find out that man escaped, they'll take Ryan first. She shoved Ryan into the wardrobe, just for a little while. If Ryan's hypnosis wears off, maybe he can save me. Edith instructed him, until I call you, don't come out no matter what. No matter what you hear outside, don't make a sound. Bear with it a little. I'll open the door soon. Okay? The wardrobe door slowly closed. Ryan stood alone in the darkness. Edith looked at the shut doors. Ryan's hypnosis will wear off today. They probably won't check the wardrobe, right? She took a deep breath and opened the room door. So early in the morning. What is it? The slave trader stood outside. Today's the day you're supposed to return the slave. I've come to take back what's mine. He craned his neck to look inside. Miss, where's my slave? Edith tried to close the door. Come back this afternoon. I've just sent him out on an errand. The slave trader's expression darkened. What kind of joke is this? Don't try to fool a professional. You should at least honor the return date. He shoved the door open by force. Entering the room was forbidden, but his footsteps echoed inside. Edith shouted angrily, you can't just barge in here. A cold sneer curled on the slave trader's lips. He shook the ankle shackle in his hand. This is what you used to let him escape, isn't it? Edith's pupils constricted sharply. Underground beneath the slave market, Edith was thrown hard to the floor. The slave trader looked down at her and laughed obscenely. What a ridiculous woman. Have you no instinct for self-preservation? You dare to let my slave go. He grabbed Edith by the hair and forced her face up. You're lucky. You'll still sell for a good price. Maybe even more than that slave did. A greedy smile spread across his face. I think my new stock will arrive today. Edith struggled fiercely. Get away from me, you disgusting psycho bastard. The slave trader reached for Edith's collar. If you want to sell for a good price, you'd better behave. Shall I see whether your body is worth anything? A flash of resolve passed through Edith's eyes. I've caught the plague. If you don't want to die, don't touch me. The slave trader let out a lewd laugh. You think I can't see through your lies? Edith stared straight at him. Haven't you heard of the disease the Empire calls the Great Visitor? In the original game, Johnny had once used the Saint's power to cure a plague. If this world has the same setting, then he can't possibly not know about that plague. It killed countless people. The Empire called it the Great Visitor because of that. A trace of fear flashed through the slave trader's eyes. That's just the disease that gives people a fever and burns out their brains. He examined Edith closely. You don't even have blisters or a rash on you. Edith answered calmly. It's still in the incubation period. No blisters yet, but the spots have already appeared. She raised the corners of her mouth in a cold smile. Keep touching me, and you'll catch it too. If you want to shorten your life, go ahead. I never thought the marks that bastard left on me would come in handy. Edith continued, it's not yet past the return deadline. I sent him to do something. No matter what, as long as he's brought back before midnight, that's enough. Isn't it? The slave trader clenched his teeth. Fine, I'll wait until midnight. But if the slave still isn't back by then, I'll sell you the moment dawn breaks. Remember that. He turned to leave. You better hide those spots. If your price drops, you'll make up the difference. Edith let out a sigh of relief and slumped to the floor. A blond man appeared at the cell door. He was carrying bread and water. You probably haven't eaten anything. At least have this. He set the food on the ground. Edith only looked down at it in silence. The clock ticked on. Only 1 hour left. Damn that bastard. If you're gonna run, you could have at least left me some sign so I could run with you. Edith curled up in the corner of the cell. I hope Ryan comes to save me. The only way out now is for Ryan's hypnosis to wear off. It had already dropped to 3 before. It should be gone by now. You didn't leave me behind and run away alone, did you? She clutched at her clothes tightly. Footsteps came from far away, then stopped at the cell door. Edith looked up sharply, hope flickering in her eyes. Ryan, the blond man stood outside. Is Ryan your lover's name? Edith's hope died instantly. It's not midnight yet. The blond man pushed the door open. I know. I just thought you might be bored, so I came to keep you company. He glanced at the food on the floor. You've only had some water? The medicine should be taking effect soon. Do you feel anything strange? Like your body heating up or numbness lower down? Edith suddenly covered her mouth. Heat surged through her body. You put something in the water. Her vision began to blur. The blond man burst into laughter. Great. Looks like the drug works. Edith struggled to lift her head. Didn't you hear me? I told you I have the plague. The blond man walked over to her. Of course I heard. Even so, spending a night with a woman like you wouldn't be such a bad way to die. He lifted Edith's chin. How can you be this real? If someone told me they'd caught a fairy from the Silver Mountains, I'd believe it. Edith struggled. Don't touch me. A sharp ripping sound rang out. The blond man's arm was severed in an instant. Blood sprayed everywhere. The slave stood there holding a blood-stained curved blade. Hello, my owner. A bloodthirsty smile curled on his lips, and red light glimmered in his eyes. Edith stared at him in shock. What are you doing? The slave steadied her. What am I doing? I came to save my owner. He lifted Edith into his arms. I may not be a prince, but I can at least be a beast that repays a debt. Edith asked softly, aren't you afraid of catching the plague? The slave laughed lightly. You mean that disease you were shouting about earlier? If it can spread, then I'll die with you. Edith's heart jolted. Carrying her out through the gate, he said, anyway, this slave trader belongs to the Piao Merchant Guild, the biggest merchant group in the Desert Kingdom. If we want to live, we need to leave this country as fast as possible. Hold on tight. We're out of time. I'm going to speed up. Wind gathered under his feet. His figure vanished into the darkness in an instant. Edith couldn't help screaming. This is basically flying. The slave tightened his hold. Hold on and keep your mouth shut. Otherwise, my ears are going to go deaf. Edith immediately covered her mouth. Sorry, but my body, maybe because of that water. Every time I move, my lower body gets hotter and hotter. He sensed something wrong. Mistress, are you feeling unwell? Why is your body so hot? Edith clutched his clothes. Something feels wrong with my body. Night blanketed the forested mountains, the moonlight cold and pale. The slave carried Edith into the nearby hills to hide. He knew what drug Edith had taken, and he also knew how to ease her suffering. But the star and moon night gave him a headache. Edith was breathing hard, her body twisting uncontrollably. The slave ran a frustrated hand through his hair. Damn it! His cheeks flushed red. Edith's body suddenly trembled. The slave lowered his head to look at her and asked softly, Mistress, can't you hold back anymore? Edith shivered all over. It's too painful. The slave clenched his teeth. He was almost losing control. He took a deep breath. Fine, I'll help you a little. He turned his face aside. Mistress, this is going to get you into serious trouble. Today really is a terrible day. He lowered his gaze to Edith. Mistress, do you like it when I enter you like this? Edith's reason collapsed completely. I like it. The slave said, this is your order, mistress, so you can't regret it. A wicked, enchanting smile curved his lips. Even if you do regret it, it won't help. If a tuck mates on the night of the new moon, a mark is left behind. Edith's trembling hand touched the slave's face, damp with sweat. You're so beautiful. That makes me a little worried. I'm afraid you'll die. Mistress, Edith's body suddenly convulsed, and she cried out. The slave said, a tuck can only imprint on one person in its lifetime. I am now truly your slave. Sunlight filtered through the leaves in dappled patches. The slave's hand brushed over Edith's forehead. Edith let out a soft sound and slowly opened her eyes. The slave smiled. You're awake. He pressed the back of his hand to Edith's forehead. Edith's gaze was a little unfocused. How could that lunatic make someone pass out? She slowly sat up and sucked in a sharp breath. My waist feels like it's about to break. The slave said, don't force yourself. Lie down a bit longer. Edith held her waist. He was so rough. I hope nothing actually tore. Watching her, the slave said, it did tear a little, so I stitched it up. Edith's eyes widened in horror. She abruptly lifted her skirt. Where? With that size, I knew something would go wrong. The slave looked innocent. I meant the seam of your dress ripped. I sewed it back up. You're too much. I was being careful. Edith pulled up her bodice. Careful? At my age, I really thought I was going to split apart. I'd better change clothes. The slave asked softly, does it still hurt a lot? I'm sorry. I wanted to hold back, but at that moment I couldn't control myself. If it still hurts, I'll go down to the village and get medicine for you. Edith looked at him suspiciously. Why are you suddenly being so nice to me? Did you take the wrong medicine? The slave lowered his eyes. And next time, I really will be careful. Edith jolted in shock. There's going to be a next time? Get lost right now. The slave's eyes darkened. Why wouldn't there be a next time? Mistress. Edith took a step back. You're free now. The slave bent down close to her. What nonsense are you talking about? You're my mate now. Don't you know what it means for a tuck to sleep together on the night of the new moon? Edith trembled. What happens? The slave said, I already told you. You're my mate now. When tucks unite on the night of the new moon, they leave a mark. Even if you try to run away from me, you'll never escape. Even if you cross the continent by ship, I'll still find you. Edith stared at him in horror. What do you mean? The slave's voice was low and firm. You are my mate now, and a tuck never lets go of its mate. A system prompt sounded. Quest complete. Hidden route. Congratulations. Instead of finding the target character Lucas, you discovered your own Lucas. You have entered the hidden route, the obsessive male lead. Reward. Lucas affection plus 20, charm plus 20, stamina plus 20. Edith shouted, what kind of bullshit is this? This counts as completing the quest too? Lucas's fingers stroked her cheek. Anyway, mistress, now that you're awake, shall we do it again? Edith's body went rigid. A system warning popped up. Frequent intercourse with Curtis may result in death. In order to maintain health, please remain vigilant. Edith screamed in horror. System. The alarm sound turned sharp and shrill. Danger approaching. Evacuate immediately. Lucas kissed her neck. The system alarm blared. Edith's probability of death has increased. Cause severe physical exertion leading to stamina depletion. Wait. Does that mean I could literally die from sex? I'm not dying like that. Edith suddenly shoved Lucas away. Right? Where did Ryan go? Lucas looked away. How would I know? What's with that bastard? Who cares? Maybe he died in some corner. Edith said, don't say such terrifying things. Lucas's eyes darkened. I only want Mistress to look at me. I held back the urge to gouge out those beautiful eyes. So don't be angry anymore. You're even prettier when you're angry. It's harder for me to endure it. Edith looked devastated. System, did you mess up the keyword settings? This obsessive maniac is nothing like the one I know. A system prompt rang out. New quest, related to Aslid von Bernhard. Search for Aslid von Bernhard. You lost Aslid, whom you worked so hard to find. Use the Beast Tamer's ability to find him before the hypnosis wears off. Success reward. Charm plus 30. Aslid affection plus 20. Failure penalty. Charm minus 30. Aslid affection minus 20. And retaliation from the Crown Prince's guard. Edith shoved Lucas away. So the system knew all along that I'd lost Aslid. He's probably still hiding in the wardrobe. Oh no, he's been stuck like that all day. My poor child must be starving. I have to go find him right now. She sprang to her feet, leaving Lucas behind. Edith threw on a cloak. The slave trader might still be looking for me. I need to sneak him out quietly. The innkeeper was cleaning up and looked at Edith in shock. Miss, why are you not using the door? Edith froze. Seriously, why now of all times? Edith poked her head out the window and greeted her awkwardly. Hello, Mom. The innkeeper planted her hands on her hips. Where have you been? That merchant has been looking for you everywhere and causing a huge scene. Edith froze. She pointed at the empty wall. Where's the wardrobe that was here? The innkeeper explained the door wouldn't open and it looked broken, so we threw it out. Edith shrieked. You threw it out without checking inside? There was something very important in it. The innkeeper looked annoyed. We tried. The door just wouldn't open. Edith recalled her own words. Could it be because I told him not to come out until I said it was safe? She demanded loudly. Where did you throw it? The innkeeper sighed. This is what happens when you disappear without a word. A junk dealer nearby picked it up this morning. She grabbed Edith by the wrist. Anyway, miss, just stay right here. That merchant said to contact him as soon as you came back. He even promised a handsome reward. Lucas climbed in through the window. He knocked the innkeeper unconscious to the floor. Edith let out a sigh of relief. We need to find the junk dealer who took the wardrobe first. She and Lucas walked through the street in the night. Why is this junk dealer outside the town? I need to find Ryan quickly. Lucas's voice came from under his hood. Why are you trying so hard to find him? Is that slave really that important to you? Edith turned to face him. He isn't a slave. Lucas shot back. Then what's so good about him? I like being my owner's only slave. Edith let out a sigh. You're not my slave either. Lucas's gaze darkened. If you mention that bastard in front of me again, right in front of your eyes, Edith's whole body stiffened. So this is what a real obsessive looks like. Lucas laughed softly. Just joking, mistress. Don't be scared. Edith asked carefully. Let's change the subject. By the way, don't you have a real name? What should I call you? Lucas answered, my real name? If you really want to use the name I had before, then just call me Lucas. Edith frowned. Isn't that the name of all Tuck slaves? Fine, then I'll just call you Lucas. Lucas nodded. I'll decide on my real name later. Edith looked at him in surprise. Lucas explained, not just my name. My appearance can change too. Tucks can alter their hair color and eye color to suit their mate's preferences. Edith fell into thought. That setting never showed up before. Is it because I never played Lucas's route? Lucas said softly, there's still time before the next new moon. You can think about it slowly. Before that, mistress, you need to gain some weight. Edith's cheeks flushed. Why do I need to gain weight? Lucas explained, you need to build up your stamina. On the new moon, you could barely handle me. Edith froze. I'm absolutely not doing that with you again. Though it'd feel really good. Wait, if I increase my stamina, will the risk of overworked death go down too? I need to check my status window. A system panel appeared. Stamina 30, reputation 30, elegance 20, charm 120, divine power, morality 30. What? My stamina got cut in half? Before, as long as I ate and slept well, it would recover completely. I've never looked closely at the status window before. This time I need to read it carefully. Detailed explanation. Edith Abina's vitality. If stamina drops to 0, temporary death. Regular exercise and a healthy diet can increase maximum stamina. The higher the amount of food consumed, the more health and stamina improve. Guild members' evaluation of you. The better your relationship with them, the higher the value. Edith clenched her fist. Okay, I know how to become stronger now. I see. So that's why the death warning popped up after being with Lucas. And there's also divine power and morality. Divine power. If it reaches a certain threshold, obtain the title of true saintess. Morality reflects Edith Abina's humanity. If it reaches a certain threshold, lose qualification to become a saintess. True saintess? A title and disqualification both sound suspicious. I need to ask the assistant about it next time I see him. Lucas raised a hand and pointed. Mistress, that's the junk shop. A heap of discarded furniture was piled together. Edith hurried toward the junk dealer. Excuse me, did you happen to pick up a wardrobe from the inn this morning? The innkeeper said the door wouldn't open, so she sold it. The junk dealer thought for a moment. That heavy wardrobe? I threw it over there. I was going to smash it up all at once. Edith's heart sank. There's something very important inside. Can I take a look? The junk dealer nodded. It might be buried underneath. Go look for it yourself over there. The necklace on Edith's chest suddenly began to glow. A system prompt sounded. Among your possessions, there is an item related to the quest to find Aslid. The light gathered around the necklace. Item. Beast Tamer's necklace. Can track lost pets. So this was the one Ryan begged me to buy. No wonder a random roadside item had such good quality. So it was a special item. Is it pointing to Ryan's location? Edith followed the necklace's glow. The system prompt sounded again. You are approaching Aslid. Edith quickened her pace. The light grew brighter and brighter. The system notification became urgent. You're getting closer and closer to Aslid. Edith stared at the heap of wreckage in disbelief. Don't tell me he's still trapped in there. Aslid panted in the darkness, the smell of rust. He closed his eyes in despair. Edith still hasn't come? A childhood memory suddenly surfaced. A group of children stood in the doorway. Do you want to play hide and seek with us? It was the first time after entering the imperial palace that his half-siblings had invited him to play with them. Aslid stared at them blankly. The Emperor of Alfheim had no fewer than 4 children. The princess born to the Empress and her 2 sons, and Aslid, born to a concubine. He was always alone because he had no magical power. Even so, Father favored me more. He saw the extraordinary intelligence I had shown since childhood. He saw my potential as a ruler. They were deeply jealous of Father's affection. Using my mother's humble birth as an excuse, they looked down on me. Though I was lonely, I still longed to be close to them. The princess smiled and asked, "What do you think, Astrid? We wanted to play with you for a long time." Astrid smiled innocently. It was the first time he had ever felt so happy. The princess's smile was chilling, and the princes behind her also wore eerie smiles. I didn't notice their intentions at all. The princess pointed at an old wardrobe. "I'll hide under the table. You're small, so you hide in that wardrobe." Astrid spoke up. "Sister," the princess cut him off. "You should call me Your Highness." Astrid corrected himself. "I'm sorry, Your Highness, but this wardrobe is too small for me." The princess replied coldly, "It's more than enough for someone your size." Then she suddenly shoved him into the wardrobe. "The seeker will come find you soon. Until then, you absolutely must not come out." The wardrobe doors slammed shut, and the lock clicked into place. I was frightened, but I still believed her. I waited for the seeker to come and find me, but the seeker never came. At first, I waited for Father. He would surely worry when he realized I had suddenly disappeared, and then send people to look for me. But he never came either. Then I waited for Mother. He had promised that after staying a few nights in the capital, he would come to the palace to see me. But the promised day had long passed, and he never appeared. Had a week gone by? The wardrobe door gave a faint rattle, and in the end, I forced it open myself. I fell heavily to the floor. In that dark, cramped space, I realized a cruel truth. No one would ever come save me. Yes, so I should stop waiting. I had already known this long ago. Promises were never kept. Don't expect anything. No one will come. He won't come either. Suddenly, a loud crash rang out. Edith's voice pierced through the rubble. "Are you in there? If you are, answer me." Lucas grabbed Edith by the arm. "Master, stop reaching in. I'll do it." Edith shook off his hand. She began digging with her bare hands, heedless of everything else. Astrid's pupils trembled slightly. In that moment, I actually felt as if my heart would stop beating because of her. Edith's face was right before him. She cried with joy. Thank goodness. You're still alive. A feeling as if his very soul had been lifted up enveloped Astrid's entire body. He couldn't escape it. And he didn't want to. He suddenly pulled Edith into a tight embrace, holding her as if he wanted to press her into his very body. If I lose her, I'll be trapped in endless darkness again. Edith quickly soothed him. Don't cry. You didn't do anything wrong. Why are you apologizing? Lucas crossed his arms. Don't hug him so tightly. You're going to crush him to death. Unbelievable that he didn't die in there. What a lucky life. He only knows how to act obedient in front of Master. Edith retorted, don't say that. Ryan is the cutest person in the world. Edith gently stroked Ryan's cheek. The hint removal rate was still at 1, but it refused to drop any further. I hadn't planned to take him to the temple in the first place, but since the hint still hasn't been cleared, he has no choice but to come with us. She turned to Lucas. Do you know the way from here to the temple? Lucas said, the one in Rodenheim territory? If we go from here, the Aber tunnel is the shortest route. Edith's eyes lit up. Then let's go there first. Abretanel, a long tunnel cutting through the mines, connecting Shamra and the Empire. Mine carts thundered along the rails. Edith looked around. It's much bigger than I imagined. Just owning a mineral vein like this would make you ridiculously rich, wouldn't it? A miner in a safety helmet suddenly appeared. Oh. Then he clasped his hands together, smiling brightly. Meeting you here, too? Edith looked puzzled. Who are you? The miner's smile grew even wider. If you want to ask who someone is, you should politely say hello first. Edith recognized him. You're that street vendor from before. What are you doing here? The miner blinked. Can't you tell? I'm mining, not or gemstones. Since fate has brought us together again, stop by the main store next time. I'll give you a discount coupon. He held out a card. Edith waved him off. No thanks. I'm not coming back to Shamra again. The miner said, the main store is in Alfheim. It's not a place just anyone can enter. I'll give you a special pass, too. He stuffed the pass into Edith's hand. Edith froze. The item list written on it was exactly the same as the hidden shop in the game's lobby. Love-struck eyes, which increased charm. Pardon certificate, which increased morality. Even if it was a secret shop, it was far too strange for an ordinary store to be selling things like these. The miner waved. Then see you next time, customer. Edith's gaze sharpened, and she grabbed the miner by the arm. You're the assistant. The smile on the assistant's face instantly froze. A purple light flashed in Edith's eyes. Lucas stepped forward. What's going on? Who's this bastard you wanted to see so badly? Your secret lover. The assistant hurriedly waved his hands. If you come to the secret shop's main branch in Alfheim, I'll tell you everything I know. Well then, I'm off. I'm very busy. Golden light flashed, and the assistant vanished in an instant. Lucas glared at Edith. Who the hell was that guy? Is he really your secret lover? Edith ground her teeth. Of course not. If I ever see that bastard again, I'm going to kill him. A voice suddenly called out, Edith. Edith turned toward the sound. Curtis was standing there. Edith looked at him. I was wondering who was shouting in the street. So it was you. Why are you here? Lucas asked. And who's this now? Edith stopped him. Wait. Curtis walked over. Edith looked at him. What brings your highness to the mines? Curtis said, there's something here I need to deal with. Edith looked at Curtis's affection level. Affection, 57. That was already in the ambiguous range. Curtis asked, what about you? What are you doing here? Wasn't your mind already closed? More importantly, where have you been all this time? Edith stared at him in shock. Wait, I want to mine? If I had something that good, you should have told me earlier. Curtis looked at her calmly. Did you forget because you were too young? When you were little, it produced a great many rubies. But now the vein is dried up, so it's been closed. He held out his hand. If you want, I can take you there. Edith turned her head. Lucas, Ryan, wait here for a bit. Where's Ryan? Lucas answered. He was hanging around the snack stalls just now. He's probably eating something. Edith pulled out a few gold coins from her pocket and put them into Lucas's hand. Find Ryan first, then use this to buy something to eat together. Lucas looked at the money in his hand. Jay, just this little? He bent down and kissed Edith on the forehead. Then, I'm off, master. His eyes instantly turned cold, staring fixedly at Curtis. Curtis clenched his fists. Have you taken another new slave? Edith shot him a cold glance. That's none of your highness's business, Curtis said. In that regard, you really never change. He took a deep breath. Follow me. He led Edith onward. It's around here. Edith looked around. Maybe because the vein had dried up, there was almost no one here. It felt desolate, but for some reason, as she touched the rough wall, she felt a strange sense of nostalgia. Curtis stopped in front of a door. It's here. Edith stepped forward. If this is my mine, I should be allowed to go in, right? Curtis said nothing. Edith put her hand on the doorknob. Curtis suddenly spoke. I made it clear to the Marquis that he was not to come looking for you. Edith looked up. Why? That must have been difficult to persuade him. Curtis said, even if there was a misunderstanding, the Marquis has no right to see you. Edith thought about it. When the Marquis explained things to Curtis, he had twisted the facts. Curtis said, didn't you say you wanted to leave Abinega? Edith nodded. Thank you. Edith's cheeks grew slightly red, and a faint, almost imperceptible softness appeared in her eyes. Maybe if you change your mind, you could still go to Caballero now. Johnny suddenly rushed over and tightly grabbed Curtis's arm. He greeted them warmly. Miss Edith is here too. Long time no see. Have you been well? Edith let out a cold laugh. Wherever Curtis was, Johnny was sure to be there too, but he seemed to have completely forgotten what had happened between us. I was transported to a strange place and went through unbearable suffering. Johnny continued. Did you also come with Curtis to see my investiture ceremony? Edith jolted in surprise. Investiture ceremony? Johnny could now naturally call Curtis by name. While I wandered around like a beggar, had their relationship already progressed this far? Johnny continued explaining. In the Empire, the ceremony where a knight swears himself to a saint is called an investiture ceremony. Sorry, investiture is such a difficult word, but the priest explained that the investiture ceremony of Saint's Knight is actually no different from a sacred engagement ceremony. Johnny was right. In the Empire, nobles usually held an investiture ceremony for their fiancés. That was why Edith, who had once been treated as the mistress of Caballero, had been regarded as the future Grand Duchess. Edith turned around. I didn't come to attend your Highness's investiture ceremony, but congratulations anyway. Johnny looked at the abandoned mine. By the way, whose mine is this? It looks so pitiful, like it could collapse at any moment. Edith burned with anger. She pushed open the mine door and walked inside. A faint memory lingered in my mind. Why, at an age when she should have been playing with dolls, did Edith come so often to a deserted mine like this? Johnny's gaze sharpened. A faint light glimmered at his fingertips. The mine began to shake violently. Edith suddenly looked up. Johnny lunged over. Miss, be careful. A smug, cold sneer flashed in his eyes. Edith suddenly seized Johnny by the arm. Yes, of course I was being careful. I knew you could use magic. How could I not be careful? Huge rocks came crashing down, and the tunnel collapsed in an instant. Curtis shielded Edith with his body. Broken stones struck his back, and he let out a muffled groan. Edith's eyes flew open. Curtis looked down at her, his voice urgent. Are you hurt? He helped Edith to her feet. The entrance is blocked. We have to get out through the back, but the saint is missing. I need to get you out safely first, then come back for him. Edith asked in confusion. Shouldn't we look for the saint first? After all, you're his knight. Curtis cut her off. Even so, I can't leave you in danger. Edith thought to herself, he's overflowing with knightly spirit, so he's choosing to save the woman in front of him first. She grabbed tightly at Curtis's sleeve. Sorry, I'm a little scared. Curtis looked at her. Aren't you standing a little too close? Affection, 61. Edith froze. Why were his expression and tone so stiff? Yet his affection level was rising. Curtis let out a soft laugh. You're still as timid as ever. He pulled Edith into his arms. Curtis's body swayed, and he suddenly collapsed. Edith cried out, Curtis! She saw the blood on her own hands. Could it be from when he blocked the falling rocks just now? New mission unlocked. Escape the mine safely with the injured Curtis. Mission success reward. Curtis affection plus 15, charm plus 20, divine power plus 10, mine excavation rights acquired. Mission failure penalty. Curtis dies.